This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2025 Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
AFL. On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Stacking up the wins in recent weeks, having moved within striking distance of the top 8, but can they face up against a side who we expect will be there come September in the Western Bulldogs? Great to have your company. It's been a miserable day in Melbourne, so it is the place to be under the roof today with the perfect conditions for these two sides. The Bombers have made it 5 of their last 6 matches, but can they test the Western Bulldogs, who return from Darwin, having gone down to the Gold Coast Suns last week? There's no late changes with Dylan Shield and Lockie Bramble, the subs for their respective sides tonight. I'm Matt Clinch for ABC Sport to call the action alongside Lauren Borden. Welcome to you, Loz.
Thanks, Clinchy. I'm with you. Normally I want the roof to be open, but it was a bit of a miserable day in Melbourne. So we're probably one of the only games across the round that'll have a little bit of dry weather under the roof with the rain in New South Wales as well. But you look at these two sides and they're absolute dockland specialists. So no real advantage when it comes to home ground advantage. They've both won their 3 games here this year as well. So I think this is the real test for Essendon and what they need. Both sitting on 5 wins, which surprises me a little given probably how good Western Bulldogs is in comparison to Essendon, but we'll see how it all plays out tonight.
Yeah, can the Bombers' backline stand up? Jaden Laverty comes in for his first game of season 2025. 2-time All-Australian, number 1 draft pick, but he is self-appointed Father of the Year today. Brett Delidio, great to have you on a Saturday night.
Guilty as charged, Clinchy. Yes, mate, I've done it all today. I've been to a couple of basketball games. I've gone and watched some kids footy in the APS, and then I've made about 4 or 5 different slices, which we'll talk about throughout the night. But yeah, I've been a busy man, mate. So Father of the Year today for the kids' bake sale. They're raising money for their school tomorrow.
Well done by you. It's always a great Saturday night when you had Daniel Harford, former Blue and Hawk, of course, coach in the AFLW. Harf, welcome to you.
Coach of the Year in the AFLW. Forgot that bit while we're talking about awards.
Okay.
And who'll ever forget, by the way, the 2008 AFL Army Award that Brett Delidio won.
Yes.
It was a short-lived award. I'll tell you this, extremely gutsy effort to attempt to mark the ball with a fly. Didn't even mark it, got an award. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, Stephen Baker coming the other way, which is it's a brave act in itself. But I got $10,000 worth of flights out of that. I was wrapped.
Did you?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the Army Wars? 3 years.
Yeah, is that all it lasted, was
That's all it lasted.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be in good company tonight. We're going to enjoy the ride. Hopefully we get an entertaining game of footy, but let's head down to the ceremony for Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
As part of the AFL's Sir Doug Nicholls Round, we look to celebrate the contribution of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people to our great game. It is my pleasure to now welcome Senior Wurundjeri Elder Auntie Joy Murphy-Wandin for a welcome to country.
We're here tonight to celebrate the 10th year of Sir Doug Nicholls Round, and I want to pay my respect to him because he was a gentleman, a small man but full of stature, and certainly a champion in everything he achieved. We owe him so much, but we will continue to honour the legacy he has left behind. 2025 has been an up and down season, I believe, for AFL, VFL and a number of other sports. Today we all shared some very sad news. I would like to acknowledge, though, firstly, the passing of young players, exceptional when they are that young for this to happen. And I'd like to mention and pay my tribute and best wishes to Andrew Cracker's family. And then, of course, today we heard the sad passing of Troy Selwood, another young man, too young, but we're very saddened by his loss, and again, sincere condolences to his family. And in my era, the wonderful Robert Walls, a man of stigma, a man of stamina, and a man that was committed to everything he did. And again, pay our condolences to his family. We are here for a celebration. We're celebrating all Indigenous players from the past and through to the current players of today. And no matter what level they play sport at, we're all very proud of them. And I want to say to you, thank you for having me not only believe in sport, but continuing to love the game of Aussie rules. I want to thank my father, who so gracefully gave me a lesson that said, we are who we are, be proud of who we are. but we are no better than anyone else. That, of course, extends to you. I want to acknowledge all ancestors, elders and communities across this great nation and neighbouring islands. And I also want to acknowledge all of the aunties and uncles that are here with us this evening and those who are looking on. I also want to pay deep respects to those who have passed. We know that was a tough time for you, and my brother was included in that. But your legacy we will ever cherish, and we will continue this journey as well in your honour. To you, thank you. Thank you for joining with us in this celebration tonight, and of course the rest of the Indigenous round. It is a shame when we talk about coming together that we don't do it all the time, but I hope that the memento of tonight allows that to continue for a long, long time. The way which we conduct ourselves is really important. And me, of a woman who's been around for many years, have had this wonderful pleasure of welcoming people to country. And it's by no means a mean feat, but it's also a huge responsibility, and I also honour that. I honour that from the footsteps that I've been able to walk in, and also those who have stood by my side, and that's you of today. We are known as the Managum people, and I take this leaf on your behalf. Accepting this gift means that you are welcome to everything, from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. In the spirit of a great game, good luck to both the Bulldogs and Essendon. May the best team win. Our language is the Woiwurrung. Womenjakar Wurrunjubalak, Yemen Kundibik. And you are most welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. Nojkanwa.
Thank you, Auntie Joy, for that special...
Auntie Joy Murphy wandering with the welcome to country taking place. The umpires to the left and the right. The players interlocked on either side of each other as the welcome to country for Sir Doug Nicholls round reaches its conclusion. We're just a minute or so away from the opening bounce. The Western Bulldogs taking on Essendon as round 10 of the AFL continues on ABC Sport. Matt Lynch and Lauren Borden to call the action. Andrew Mays is down on the boundary for us tonight. Daniel Harford and Brett Toledo, maybe just some rapid-fire thoughts as to what you're most looking forward to tonight. As the two captains, Marcus Bontempelli and Zach Merritt, I wonder if we'll see them side to side tonight.
Yes, well, that would be a great matchup. Zach Merritt has been unbelievable, and in the big moments for Essendon all year, he's the one that's changed the dynamic and changed the momentum of their season, I reckon. He's been quite phenomenal, Zach Merritt. But Loz was spot on, Lids, before when she was talking about whether or not we see Essendon as the real deal tonight. Yep. They've won 5 games this season, as many as the Bulldogs. They've played 1 less game, so they could nominally be in the 8 at the moment, but they aren't there at the moment. But they've beaten the teams coming into this weekend that were ranked 13th, 14th, 15th, 17th and 18th. Yep. So now you can only beat what you're up against, but they haven't been able to beat a team above them so far this season. So this is a real litmus test for the way that they play. They're the second slowest ball movement team in football at the moment. Not necessarily is that a bad thing, but that's the way they play. And for inside 50s, they're 15th. Yep. So they own a lot of possession. Number 1 possession team in football. Second slowest ball movement. Fourth worst inside 50. So where's the ball going? I want to see some sort of system to their play to be able to get the ball inside forward 50 and put a bit of pressure on the Dogs' defence, because we know the Dogs will come at them.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Harv. The question mark will be how long can they defend for, and can they hold up against, I think, one of the better midfields, if not the best midfield in the game, with Bontempelli. Richards has gone to another level. We know what Liberatore brings. And they've got another number of other guys. Matty Kennedy, his footy's gone to another level this year as well. His ability to be inside but then hit the scoreboard as well has given them a different avenue towards goal. So they're going to be up against it, the Bombers half. I totally agree. I think they are good at defending, but I think that's due to just denying the opposition the football. So if they can, deny them the footy, but then be able to go forward and score. But they are relying a hell of a lot on Zach Merritt, who you mentioned, and then Caddy and Kako up front to provide a little bit of excitement. So if we get that, we should be in for a crack-up.
Yeah, so they're the hardest team in the last 5 weeks. They're the hardest team to score once their opposition has got inside their 50. So that's a good sign. Yep. So they're stopping scoring. They just don't score themselves. They're 15th or 14th for goals. so far this year. So they're not finding a way to get any flow into their game. And teams like the Bulldogs will just pick them apart. They're the number 1 centre bounce team in footy, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they
so
score
good
really
luck
well from clearance, don't they?
Good luck.
The final member of our team is Andrew May, sitting in the front row for us tonight. Welcome to you, Maisie.
Thank you very much, Clinchy. The first thing I'll say tonight, it is a bumper crowd right up to the back row, even next to the scoreboard. So it wouldn't surprise me if this pushes 45,000, 46,000 tonight. So there's an air of expectation amongst the Bombers fans. Looking forward to seeing what they can dish up tonight.
Can the Bombers best challenge the Bulldogs on a Saturday night under the roof of Docklands? It's round 10 of the AFL. Here's Lauren Borden to get us underway.
It's Goldstein over English, who gets the tap out straight to Durham of the Bombers. Hand passes as he's falling to centre half forward. Kako can't pick it up cleanly. Second attempt can get a hand pass to right. Hand pass across to Hobbs. Flares it out wide inside 50. Across to Dersma, who's got some space in the left forward pocket. Dinks the kick towards goals. Hasn't quite got the distance. And it's an intercept marked by Johannesson. So an early push forward from the Bombers. And just stopped on the line by Jason Johannesson. Chips it forward towards Sanders. And then he'll hand pass across to a running Johannesson. Still in defensive 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Goes out long. Fraser has front position. Can't take the mark. Roberts is at the drop for the Bombers. Hand pass across to Redmond. Flicks it backwards towards Setterfield. He spins around. Hand passes it to Roberts. To Mackay, who gets it back. And it's back to Roberts. Hand pass to Setterfield. Inside 50 he goes. And this time it'll be a mark inside 50 to the Bombers and to Nick Martin.
They certainly know how to overpossess, don't they? I mean, they're already 10 possessions, 12 possessions to 3. And they went nowhere just there in front of us right here on centre wing. Handball, and then finally got it out. It was a nice little kick from Setterfield. I'm not sure whether he saw Martin there, but he cut off in front and he's become a very, very handy player, Nick Martin.
So it ends in the hands of Nick Martin, who'll kick from 50 metres out, slightly more difficult than a 45-degree angle. Arcs around to get the distance on the kick, puts it towards the goals, and it's just off to the near side. So behind to open proceedings tonight. Essendon leading by that one behind. It's Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Bailey Dale wastes no time, bringing the Bulldogs back into play to Williams, who gives it back to Dale, streaming away from half-back. He looks to chip it up the wing. It's over the head of Riley West. Buku Karmas runs onto it. Hand pass to Vandermeer. Gets the hand pass back to Karmas, and now to Day. Dale still at right half-back. He turns and comes inboard to Bailey Williams. So the Dogs trying to switch. Inboard to O'Donnell. Drop the mark. Langford comes in. He tries to get a hand pass to his own advantage. Spinning off Bailey Williams, who got him. Holding the ball. He wins it back for the Bulldogs. Bontempelli takes the advantage over the top to Sanders.
Goes straight into the middle of the ground to Latham Vandermeer. Subbed off last week with a calf injury, but he's back starting today. Hand pass to Sanders, and then it's Vandermeer that gets it back. Puts the Dogs directly inside 50. Reid. Front position for the Bombers. And the player who's been the star of Essendon's defensive unit so far this season takes the intercept mark and flares it out wide to the right back pocket to Martin.
It was a bad entry from the Dogs. Harms wanted it wider and he kicked it to his opponent. We started right here, the Bombers. I'm keen to see how the Dogs start after the trip to Darwin last week. That was a taxing game. Just keep an eye on them.
Yes, I think they had a couple of days off as they came back to relax and rejuvenate a little bit. It's Essendon with the footy right half back. Setterfield's kick will be picked off by Dale. Chops it off for the Dogs and then dabs the kick inside 50, hoping for a mark from Norton. Brings it to ground, goes after it, can't pick it up. West can get it. Runs the ball out of attacking 50, hand passes to Sanders, and he'll put the kick to the hot spot, looking for Bontempelli. One-handed grab. Excellent. It falls out in the end. He doesn't get paid the mark, and it's not a mark, so McGrath can pick it off and peel off for the Bombers.
Sends it up towards Zach Merritt. He's in a tangle with Jason Johannesson, and JJ spoils it out of play for a boundary throw on at left half forward for the Dogs.
Not bad. Tall midfielder being able to hold out a keep back, is it? Nearly took it one-handed, just fell out at the last minute.
It's good to be the king.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio, your experts. English takes it out of the ruck. Hand pass to Ed Richards. A 5-year during the week. He fires towards goal and it's across the face. Missing to the right-hand side and a minor score. Signed till 2030 with the Western Bulldogs, and scores are locked out of behind a piece through the opening 3 minutes.
He was the number 1 ranked player in the competition, Ed Richards, the first 9 rounds of the competition. So no surprise that the Bulldogs try and lock him away. He's had some sort of season so far.
Jackson Pryor bringing in for the Bombers. Long kick out to right half back. It'll be a free kick going the way of the Bombers, just high on Sammy Durham.
The beauty is with Richards, he's playing that half-forward role at the moment, so he's up and back. He takes the defender away from the area that they want to try and stay in and defend the ground. But he's just so fast, he's so fit. It's a real... What happened there? Libba's given away 50, I think.
The handover with Richards telling Libba to go. He didn't quite get out of the protected area quick enough. I saw it last night, didn't we? A few calls, so you've got to be onto that.
So Redmond advanced 50 metres, plays on quickly. He'll kick to a pack forming at the back. He's right. He takes it, hand passes it away to Hobbs. He's close to the boundary line and takes the tackle from Dale, and he's happy to see it over just a few metres around from the right behind post. Essendon kicking towards the Coventry end in this first quarter. It's scores locked at 1 point apiece. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
If you want to join us throughout the night on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Wright and Lobb. Wright wins down the tap, but straight to Bailey Williams for the Dogs. Hand pass to Kennedy's tackled and brought to the turf. As Roberts appeals to the umpire, he thought he had prior intent, and the hand pass went straight to the boundary line, but the umpire says throw it in.
100% deliberate.
Yes.
Smart deliberate, wasn't it?
Yeah, super smart deliberate. That's the next level.
Yeah.
5 minutes gone, opening term, a behind a piece under the roof of Docklands. Peter Wright works his way to the front, palms it down for the Bombers inside their forward 50. Langford can't gather, spills out to Roberts, hand pass to Langford. Top of the 50 gets a hand pass to Merritt, centering ball it won't get to Hobbs, and the intercepting mark taken by Marcus Bontempelli. The Bulldogs skipper filling in the hole nicely as he marks 35 metres out from his defensive goal. Chips it over the top to Sanders, who alongside Artie Jones was there for the presentation of the gifts at the coin toss, and then the hand pass to Johannesson, who found his way out of trouble superbly well, jagged on the left, and kicks out to O'Donnell at right half back.
Vandermeer leading at him short, but instead chooses to retreat back to his captain in Bontempelli, about 30 metres out from defensive goal. Chip across to Libba, who was a little bit risky, but Liberatore marks and moves it on to Johannesson. Hand passes right through the middle to Cleary. Hand pass to Dale, who takes a bounce right in the centre of Dockland Stadium and will kick the Bulldogs inside 50, one-on-one. Weston Laverty taps it away. Norton charges through, can't pick it up cleanly. It'll be taken by Reid. He's tackled to the turf by Fraser. And the umpire will cross his arms and will have a ball up 15 metres out from attacking goal for the Western Bulldogs. Scores level, early stages, Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
English wins down the tap, looking for Liberatore. Could have been held when not in possession. He was. And the Bulldogs midfielder will get a shot on goal. Caldwell just grabbing the back of the jumper, maybe panicking that Liberatore was going to fire towards goal and have the shot in the left forward pocket, about 10 metres in from the boundary, 25 metres out from goal.
Yeah, spot on there, Clinchy. They just got a bit grabby, didn't they? Geez, their work rate, though, their high half forwards and their midfielders, let them go at your peril. They cut you up, especially through the middle of the ground. Makes it very hard to defend.
And a season-high 10 clearances and 10 tackles against the Suns last week. Can Libba kick a goal here? He cannot. In fact, he fails to score. Out of bounds on the full to the near side to the left, which, as you think, for a player who has his ability, playing his 244th game, to put it on the full was not on the bingo card. Locked it up behind a piece.
McGrath kicks it out to Daywicks, takes it, hand passes it to Merritt, hand pass to Redmond, who flicks it across to Laverty as they work it out to the city side wing of Docklands. Dersma with the footy, long kick right down the wing. It'll be close to the boundary line. Goldstein marks it.
He's not still on the list, is he?
Still on the list, still playing 344 games, I think he's up to.
And wants to go again.
333. Well, he's going okay. Not expecting to do too much to this point, but gee, he's been a handy replacement.
Chips back to Laverty, and Laverty goes further back to Mackay, so they're still inside defensive 50 now, the Bombers. Chips to Redmond, and they'll go from the city side wing to the dock side wing with Archie Roberts. Hand passes it to Redmond, a long hand pass across to Merritt, who waits for the footy and then dodges around his opponent, kicks it into Fraser, who spoils it. McNeil goes in after it, and then Merritt pushes McNeil in the back, who after McNeil earns a free kick. And it'll be the Western Bulldogs free centre wing.
A behind a piece through the opening 9 minutes here at Docklands. McNeil goes wide. Now to Riley West, who takes the mark. Veers on his right-hand side, chips it up the field to Bontempelli. He's still 2 kicks out from goal, but Norton leads to the pocket. Superb pass as he leads out and marks on his chest. Aaron Norton, and there wasn't a lot Ben Mackay could do on that occasion.
He's causing some troubles. Bontempelli at the moment at both ends of the ground. He's inside forward 50 before nearly took the one-on-one one-hander. What a one's there. Went back, got involved in defensive 50. Now he's transitioning forward again with that last ball inside 50. And every time he gets his hands on the footy, you know it's going to work out pretty well for the Dogs. He's a problem.
Held goalless last week, Aaron Norton, one of 2 occasions so far this season. Out to the left, looking for the first of the match. He's missed as well.
Vortex to
just
the left point.
Scraped in for a minor score.
Mate, is there a wind?
A couple of interesting onlookers down here actually who've just wandered up. AFL CEO and the chairman Richard Gorder and Andrew Dillon have taken a front row seat.
They pay for their tickets?
Doubt it.
just copped a little bit of heat this week, and now they're down on the officials' bench watching on. It's Essendon with the footy. Right half back. Daywicks goes long down the line. Canny front position. Got 2 fingertips on it. Brings it to ground. Al-Hooley chasing after it. Minor just got pushed in the back a little from lob, and it'll be a free kick to the Bombers as Al-Hooley takes it right in front of the Essendon benches. He'll kick it to right half forward. Laverty at the front. Langford rather at the front. Can hand pass it across to Merritt. He flicks it on his left boot into the forward pocket. It goes over the top of Perkins and will register a behind for the Bombers. So 2 behinds apiece. Either side scores level. 10 minutes played in the first term on ABC Sport.
Dale wants to move it back in quickly for the Dogs. He spots Kennedy at right half back. Kicks up towards Artie Jones, and he's nudged underneath it. Jaden Laverty in his first game of 2025 takes the mark. Short to Reid. Had 27 disposals last week, and then the hand pass to Dersma. Kick was a little cute for Hobbs, and Artie Jones gets involved. The Bulldogs take it. Hand pass to Johannesson. Hand pass to Davidson. Now out to Vandermeer. He takes a bounce centre wing. Looks up to half forward. Can't miss the target. Made body contact with Mackay. Got rid of him. Gets the hand pass to McNeil. Great run down chase. Caldwell got him. The Bulldogs get it forward still. Trying to knock it out in the end was Fraser. Spills out towards Richards. Trying to sock it off the deck. Failed to make contact. And then Artie Jones has to wear the contact from Dersma and Mackay, who are desperately defending, laying the tackle just 20 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal.
Like Maisie mentioned, it is a very good crowd. Just looking around, it's all the way back to the third tier. The last seats up in the third tier this Saturday night game as Bontempelli pulls it out, gets the goal, and the first on the board is from the captain of the Western Bulldogs. Took it from the stoppage and wasted no time. And the first goal of the night is for the Doggies. It's the Western Bulldogs 1-2-8 leading Essendon, just the 2 behinds. 11 minutes played in the first quarter to get our first goal of the night, and it is the Western Bulldogs leading by 6 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
He's got the matchup of Will Setterfield there, but just didn't not enough body contact early. I don't think half. They kill you as a coach, and demoralising as a team as well to give up forward 50 stoppage goals. Especially so early. That's when you expect everyone to be sharp. It's not late in the game when, blokes are tired and mentally fatigued. Start of the game, you need to be right on. And unfortunately for the Bombers and Will Setterfield, the class of Bontempelli, let's be honest. He's a hard man to stop, but you've got to do everything in your power to try and nullify that.
But I think that's the point, Leds, that you've got to pick your poison a bit. Who do you stop? Do you stop Liberatore? Do you stop Bontempelli? Do you stop Richards? Who are you going to put the most time into in those scenarios?
Daniel Harford and Brett Delinia, your experts on ABC Sport. Marcus Bontempelli brings just a little bit of class to this game as Sammy Durham was taken high, and he'll get a free kick in the middle of the ground against Fraser. Back edge of the centre square for the Bombers. They're 2 behind, so the Western Bulldogs 1-2-8. Kicks out towards Daywicks. Over the back goes to Ray. Spoils it down for the Dogs. Got it to Harms. Hand pass to English through the middle of the ground. He kicks looking for Fraser, who takes the mark and gets the hand pass away to Dale. Out towards Vandermeer at half forward. Roberts makes the spoil for the Bombers. Running onto it is Dersma gets the hand pass forward, and then a chance for the Bombers to try and come inboard. Setterfield on the bounce to Perkins. Hand pass away to Caldwell. Trying to break the tackle. Can't get past Harms. And the Bulldogs will take it back at centre half back.
And it's taken by Duray, hand pass to Bontempelli. Hand passes backwards towards Cleary. He puts it out wide, looking for Artie Jones. Tenses outside the boundary line, and he's taken it out in the end. He had space in front of him to keep it inside play, but he just went over a little bit, and it'll be a throw-in between wing and half forward for the Bombers.
What a corridor play so far. It's exciting footy up and down the ground.
It's just thinking the same thing. I love the fact that the Bulldogs always try and get back into the middle of the ground.
English and Wright now meet each other in the ruck. Tap out comes from English. It'll be picked up by Durham, though he's taken down to the turf, and it'll be a ball up.
Oh, pretty lucky to get away with that. Had the one arm tackled, one arm free, couldn't release the footy.
Durham gets away with it, another ball up, and English, long tap out, just puts it into some space. Richards picks it up, he's dispossessed of the footy, and it's taken by Al-Hooley. Richards tackles him down, and Al-Hooley can just get a kick. It might work for the Bombers here as Perkins picks it up and hand passes it to Pryor. Hand pass back to Perkins, who tries to go back to Pryor, but it's McNeil that can steal it for the Bulldogs. Dale takes it, he's swung around in a tackle, umpire says play on. Jones will grab it, hand passes it to McNeil, hand pass to Bontempelli, streaming into the 50, he'll put it into the right pocket.
What a kick.
And it'll be a mark to Riley West.
Riley West was running from the right foot pocket back to goal when Marcus Bontempelli got that ball. But he was getting closed down on his right side, so Bontempelli had nowhere else but to kick it to that right pocket. but had to wait.
Put it
the
up
ball
enough,
put it up high enough for West to come back to it and
Elite
get there.
touch.
Just
Touch.
brilliant. God, gee, that's good. Like Bontempelli's a problem. We talked about that before, but that is something special.
Riley West having a good season as well. He puts this towards goals and he sends it home as well. So West makes the most of the service from his captain, and Bontempelli's got the first goal. He's had a hand in the second as well, with Riley West putting it through. And the Western Bulldogs out by 12 points, 2-2-14, Essendon 2 behinds. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford.
It's just their ability to fight through tackles there and keep the ball moving forward. I love that. Artie Jones, a couple of little touches there, awesome. That feed it forward. Bontempelli, like hard work to try and tackle him to bring him to ground. But you're right, he got squeezed. But then that touch was just impeccable, wasn't it? Because he saw that was where the pocket of space was. And he just dropped it into a bucket.
Yep.
Riley West says, thank you very much.
Glad you mentioned Artie Jones. He had 4 efforts, I reckon, 3 chases, and then got involved in the handball chain on the way through. Good stuff for that young fella to get involved early doors.
Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio with you on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Marcus Bontempelli put a 1 goal 3 last week against the Gold Coast Suns. Riley West kicked 2-3 as well, so both on the board here. Buku Khamis into the ruck for the Dogs up against Peter Wright, and it's Caldwell who gets the clearance. Hand pass looking for Perkins. Davidson had it for a moment, and it's intercepted, and Caldwell tries to charge his way through. The umpire will ball it up.
Riley West is now the equal leading goal kicker for the Western Bulldogs for the season.
The small centre-half forward.
Spinning out of traffic is Sam Durham for the Bombers. Gets the hand pass to Caldwell. Looks out to Cuddy. He takes the mark at left half forward. The round 9 Rising Star nominee kicks into the pocket. It's not a great kick for Caldwell, although Donald just had to get a boot to it to see it out of play, as the ball awkwardly landed just behind him on the half volley. And the umpire says throw it in the left forward pocket for the Bombers. The Bulldogs by 12 points, 2-2-14 to Essendon 2 behinds. 16 minutes gone. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Was kicking towards the Coventry end where the Bombers cheer squad is, as well as Kako tries to pull it out. He can't. Langford has a go. In the end, it's Perkins that picks it up and can hand pass it to Caldwell. Just skies the ball up high looking for Caddy. Mark can't be taken by Lobb, but he collects and he hand passes it off to Fraser, who moves it backwards towards Harms. Hand passes it to Williams, and he'll switch it onto the city side wing of Docklands, to Cleary in the right back pocket. He'll now go down that wing. It'll be a contest, and Libba will win out ahead of Dersmurray. He won't. There'll be a free kick, and it'll be going the way of Essendon.
To Pryor, one of Corby's top 5 players at Essendon.
Jackson Pryor.
Yeah, surprised me too, Loz.
There you go. The Western Australian puts a kick inside 50 at its half that's able to take the intercept mark for the Western Bulldogs. And he'll hold on to it. The Dogs ahead by 12 points.
There you go. You've got it in one, Loz. Those Western Australians stick together. At right half back, the Bulldogs try and find an avenue out as Liberatore with a long Polly Farmer hand pass out to Dale. He's chip kick to West. He didn't take them up, but he burns away from Caldwell up towards Norton over his fingertips. And Ben Mackay takes the intercepting mark. Hand pass away to Laverty through the middle of the ground to Roberts. His hand pass to Perkins. Wanted to give it back to Roberts, but missed him. West slides in. Is that a flick pass? Got it out to Norton and now gets the hand pass away. Duray with a driving kick into the pocket. It clears Vandermeer. He scraps with Redmond. Vandermeer keeps it alive. Hand pass to Khamis. Hand pass to McNeil. Great work for the Dogs. Around the corner on the right. And a great team lifter. And Vandermeer's got one by play as well in the celebration. The Bulldogs 3-2-20 to Essendon 2 behinds. Have a look on the replay there as to what's happened. Lathan Vandermeer
no, Brent.
Hang on.
What's happened?
Brent's fallen for it because Vandermeer's gone down. Redmond's giving him one after because he beat him in the one-on-one. And now the umpire, I think it's Plow's young fella.
It is, Brent Wallace,
young Brent. And he's fallen for it. Now, Lath got up and he was just smiling. He's just like, yeah, gotcha.
So we're going to have a second shot.
Yes.
So a double goal potentially coming here before the ball is returned in the middle, and Lath Vandermeer is waiting for the ball to be given to him in the left forward pocket, only about 25 metres out.
Geez, it was a good 1v1 win though, wasn't it?
Yeah, huge.
So do we think this is worthy of a shot on goal? As Vandermeer opens up the angle, curls it around the body, 2 for the price of 1. And the Bulldogs open up a break on the Bombers here. A rather fortunate double goal coming as a result of Mason Redmond's ill discipline. And Lockie McNeil makes them pay. All of a sudden it's 4-2-26 to the Bombers 2 behinds. 20 minutes gone, opening term on ABC Sport.
I'm seeing a replay. I didn't see. Well, this is the incident that led to McNeil's goal, which was a really good play. The one-on-one win. In fact, it was 1-on-2 from Vandermeer in the pocket.
Yep.
It was really good in the end. Got the Karmas who fed it off to McNeil, which was nice play from the Bulldogs, but it's further up the ground where they got the damage done. I'm just waiting to see that the incident where it's got the double goal situation. I haven't quite seen that.
Oh.
That's not double goal worthy. No, we just see he's thrown an elbow back. Vandermeer bumped.
So Vandermeer initiated and then Redmond threw an arm back that got him right in the middle.
And he's laughing now, Vandermeer. He's like, yeah, there's one.
That's no good, that is no good.
What's he going to say, though? Nah, actually, don't give me that. That's terrible.
Oh, no, you've got to take it.
You've got to take it.
Oh, absolutely.
So all of a sudden, the Doggies out by 24 points as from the middle, it's Liberatore who'll put the Western Bulldogs right inside 50. Norton got two hands to it, brought it down just outside of attacking 50. And it's Pryor now with the footy for the Bombers, kicks out to the wing towards Dersma, who takes it and will put it down the city wing, looking for Wright against Lobb. Lobb has front position and just pushes us out over the boundary line for a throw in centre wing outer side of the ground.
A big test for Pete Wright with Rory Lobb on him. He's equal size, long arms. He's got him for speed as well, I think, so he's going to have to work pretty hard today, Peter Wright.
Well, it's been a hard matchup. Last 4 games against the against the Dogs, Wright's averaged 3.5 goals. So he's been a bit of a thorn in the side of the Dogs forward to centre for the Bulldog for them.
From the throw-in, Liberatore kicks the ball into the centre of the ground. Cleary takes it, hand passes it to McNeil. Hand pass back to Harms, and he'll put it right into the hot spot, looking for a mark for the Doggies, and that's what he gets.
That's a great grab for Vandermeer.
It's Vandermeer on the end of it. Had the lead, held on to it, and had plenty of pressure coming behind him too from McGrath. He'll have a kick, same side of the ground to where he just scored, better angle as well.
Well, that's what I expected Aaron Norton to do with the one coming out, but he had the cricket bats on his hands, didn't he? It just went straight back off to the boundary, but Laith Vandermeer, that was sticky. Love that.
That was Dunstall-esque. That was brilliant.
So Latham Vandermeer to get another one. He puts this right across the face of goals.
Do you know what? He did that all pre-game too. I was watching him from this side of the ground, and he lost everything right.
Right. So how does he fix that?
Well, kick it left.
You're not wrong. The Doggies had 25 points.
I think he swings his leg across too much as opposed to through, which is a bit of a problem. Just comes across the ball a bit.
Redmond brings the Bombers back into play. To McGrath, kicks up towards the wing, but Tom Liberatore stood his ground. Takes an excellent mark, centre wing. Turns and comes inboard, looking for Kennedy. Got it over the fingertips of Nick Martin. He has it at the edge of the centre square. Looks inside 50. Short pass looking for Karmas. Redmond in from the side makes the spoil. McGrath goes racing after it, over around the footy, and it trickles out of play up against the left behind post. So just a few skill errors from both sides. The Bulldogs in front of goal. And the Bombers trying to find just some composure in their defensive 50, which is one of the big watches, averaging just 75 points conceded over the last 6 weeks. The challenge to do it against the top 8 side. From the throw-in, English tries to take it out of the ruck. He's tackled. Sam Durham tries to get it away for the Bombers on the last line of defence. And in the end, Zach Merritt is locked up by Tim English. Just 30 metres out from the Western Bulldogs goal. They lead by 25 points.
It's almost panic button time here for the Bombers coaching box, I reckon. They are getting absolutely monstered at the minute.
Merritt hand passes it out to Caldwell, swung around in the tackle, can hand pass it away, but it might be taken here by Sanders. Gathers, hand passes it to Harms, and he hand passes it to Ed Richards, who tries to curl the ball in a banana towards the goals. It'll be a mark to Karmas. Right on the line.
Unopposed loss.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to check it.
Oh, no, he's marked. That's a mark.
It looked like it was in between the right goalpost and the behind post.
From here, we can
from 100 metres away, it looked in.
Well, Chelsea wants to check it. If Chelsea wants to check it, I'm happy to be checked.
The umpire will head up to make sure it's a mark. So we've got the front look. That still looks in. It's hard to tell from this angle. His right boot lands inside the field of play.
Yeah.
We've got the side angle. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Didn't bobble.
Clean take. First touch before the line, so mark.
Yeah.
The players are in position. I feel like they're still waiting now to get the all clear.
It's actually pretty straightforward, this.
Yeah. Press the button, mate.
Ball crossing the back of the behind line.
There we go.
Press the button, mate.
It's not that hard, is it, Huff?
Just like the out, not out during the cricket season.
Yeah, it's spot on.
I'm sure it's more complicated than just pushing one button.
Maybe you had to type in M-A-R-K. Couldn't find the letters.
No, there'd be an M-A-R-K button.
Yeah, it had to be.
Just got to press that one.
So Buku Karmas had to wait a little for his shot, but now he has it. He'll set up for the snap. to put another goal on the board for the Western Bulldogs in this first quarter. He's got it.
Panic button time.
That is 5 goals in a row for the Western Bulldogs, and it's their only 5 goals of the game so far. The Western Bulldogs lead is extended out to 31 points, and we've still got 4 minutes to play in this first quarter. The Doggies 5-3-33, the Dons just those 2 behinds that came early in the quarter. It's Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
So there's a couple of layers to this, like the Bulldogs' ability to work out of congestion and work out of contest and find free players is causing absolute havoc for the Bombers defensively. But on the flip side of that, when the Bombers do get their hands on the footy, they're only 15 or so disposals behind total, the Bulldogs at the moment. They can't find any space because the Bulldogs have a real good teasing distance, which is just that distance they sit off their opponents until such time as the ball's going in their direction. Then they close it off and then they get the turnovers and they're all going forward, and their ability by hand to create space is absolutely a problem at the moment as we get a recall bounce here. So Brad Scott's got some real work to do as to how to find a way to move the ball. But as we said before, Lids, I mean, Karmas has marked that by himself on the line, so they've got some defensive issues as well.
I reckon you could kick a goal 1v0 in the forward line half.
Daniel Harvey.
We all could.
Brett Talia with you. Inside 50s, 12-7, the way of the Bulldogs early here. Sam Durham tries to break away for the Bulldogs to get them, for the Bombers to get them going. Hand pass to El Hooley. Kicks up towards Peter Wright, who takes the mark at right half forward. Holding onto it on his chest. He's got Perkins deep and Langford's led. He's ignored that. So Wright might have to send it into the pocket where the captain, Merritt, is the only real option. Clears his fingertips and goes out on the full in a tangle with Bailey Dale. So the Bulldogs looking for a clearance here across the last line as he works it to Cleary. In front of the Aboriginal flag at one end of the ground and the Tiwi Islands flag at the other. He goes short to Tim English, barely 15, so call to play on. Gave it back to Cleary. Goes short to Sanders and the hand pass now to Liberatore. Kako trying to reel him in. Just got a hand pass away at the last moment. Up to Richards in the middle of the ground. Bumped off it. Setterfield gathers. Hand pass to Durham for the Bombers. Hand pass away to Perkins and now to Pryor. Swings onto his left-hand side. Looks out to left half forward where they're lining up. Nick Martin takes the mark. Veers out to his right. Sends it long looking for Peter Wright. Sets himself with Lob in front. Can't take the mark. Merritt crumbs it. Lob gets the smother in. And it ricochets out of play in the right forward pocket. Zach Merritt positioned himself in the perfect spot, but the outreached arms of a 200-centimetre Rory Lob sees it out of play.
Easy for you, sir.
Not as easy. 207 centimetres.
It's Merritt again, though, is it? It's Merritt or bust. That's the problem with the Dons at the minute, in the forward half.
So it's Perkins who hand passes it to Al Hooley right at the top of the 50. The Bombers trying to keep it in. He hand passes it back to Merritt, who then kicks it just slightly inboard towards Archie Roberts. He takes the mark 55 metres from goal. It's a great kick off his boot. It might work for Wright. It doesn't. Doggies defenders get in first, and then it's Langford who takes the ball and he's wrapped up. And it'll be a ball up about 25 metres out from Essendon's goal, directly in front. They haven't scored a goal in this first quarter so far. Wright taps it out. Durham takes it. He's taken by Bontempelli. The umpire crosses his arms and we'll have another ball up. Inside forward 50 for Essendon. It's the Dogs leading by 31 points, having kicked the only 5 goals of the game so far.
Lob and Wright doing the ruck work. Wright trying to get it down, and Nick Martin who volleys towards goal and misses to the left-hand side. Creative trying to make something out of nothing, but the Bombers are 3 behinds. The Western Bulldogs 5-3-33, closing in on quarter time, and on the big screen even the Bulldogs are being allowed in. Every seat is being taken.
Genuinely a couple of dogs, there you go.
Yeah, real Bulldogs. Yeah.
Real Bulldogs. I don't know that was part of the rules, but there you go.
What's the old one's name? Caesar or something?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure he's still with us, unfortunately.
No, I don't think so.
No.
So it's Kennedy in the back line. Hand passes to Sanders. Not a lot of pressure coming on the Dogs as they move it out of defence.
That's the problem, Loz.
And he puts it out wide to English, and English can take a few steps on the outer wing and go long, right to right, half back. Dersma did well, half forward. Dersma did well to get there and get a hand onto it, but Harms can pick it up, put it over the back towards Karmas. 2 hands on it as he was running back, but just couldn't hold on to the grasp of it, and it's out of bounds. Inside forward 50 for the Bulldogs, though. About 15 metres around from their attacking goal, there'll be a throw-in.
So explain that to me, Lids, how the Bulldogs are able to have 3 players inside defensive 50 after a point to run it out by hand unopposed.
Work rate.
Thrown back in, Goldstein wins down the tap for the Bombers, but Sanders is front and centre. Blocks and gives the hand pass away to Riley West. Centering ball, Richards used his body, got rid of McGrath, couldn't take the mark. Now Norton tries to knock it out. Little toe poke to Kennedy, put his head into the hole. Hand pass away to English. In the right forward pocket to Liberatore, to Richards. Fends off the efforts of Roberts. Jags it onto his right. Ed Richards joins the goal kicking spree. And the doggies are red hot.
And we've got a problem. At Essendon, we've got a problem.
6-3-39 to the Bombers, 3 behinds.
Wow. No, this is brutal. This is brutal. Gee, they're classy in contest. Talked about it before, the capacity to find a teammate when they're under pressure, the ball carrier's under pressure, and still fight through tackles, hit targets. And Richards there just bullocking himself away from the tackler. Essendon have been really, really limp defensively so far tonight. And the Bulldogs are taking full toll.
What are the tackles here? 14-8. They're walking through a few of them, aren't they?
Yeah.
I got a bit distracted by Bevo's shoes, sorry, as he was walking around the boundary. What's he wrong with? I don't know. We'll have a look at quarter time, but it just distracted
Maisie,
me.
that's on you.
He rolled them last week, actually, for the first time, and he's backed it up again this week.
Roll them. Listen to you, cool with the kids.
Nice kicks. It was interesting to see Bevo when he walked out. He was really fired up, obviously heaping praise on the 4 guys on the bench here. So he's excited about what he's seeing.
We've got a 36-point lead at the moment, nearing towards quarter time. Dersma just hacked a kick away. Al-Hooley might be at front position. It's Fraser who tried to get it. In the end, it was Al-Hooley who could hand pass it to Redmond, stolen by the Dogs. Sanders, hand pass to English, hand pass to Kennedy, centre of Docklands. He hand passes it back to Fraser, who just spins around a little and has time to put it out wide. It'll bounce, but it'll work in the end for Dale, who takes his time with the footy as well and can chip it back to Fraser. And he'll mark inside the centre square. Still in the centre of the ground as he just chips it out to Johannesson, and the Doggies happy to take a little bit of time off the clock late in this first term with a sizable lead as the kick goes down towards Norton, who was leading, couldn't take the mark. Harms took it though, hand pass to Kennedy. He'll have a snap at goals for the Western Bulldogs. Punched away by Karmas on the line. It'll be kept in, and it's Liberatore that finishes. English with a smart tap to keep it in the goal square, and Liberatore came in to finish off the work. And that is another goal for the Western Bulldogs with a defensive effort that the Bombers probably should have rushed through in the end. Lead for the Western Bulldogs out to 42 points at the end of this first term. Western Bulldogs 7-3-45, the Bombers 3 behind.
Sorry, Loz. Harms just strolled through 2 Bombers defenders to get that ball forward, get that ball to, I can't remember who it was who snapped it forward. Kennedy it was.
Kennedy.
Just watching the replay again. He just strolled through 2 defenders. So there's your problem. Like you talk about covering space and pressing up and all that sort of stuff, but when you've got someone in your vicinity, you've got to lock them.
Yeah.
Brad Scott has every right to come out and barrel these blokes because this has been absolutely insipid.
Tackling cactuses, you reckon, half?
Tackling cactuses.
Daniel Harford and Brett Delia, your experts on ABC Sport. The Bulldogs have slammed on 7 in the opening quarter to prove a clear class gap between these two sides early stages. Back in the middle of the ground, Goldstein and English. Goldstein wins down the tap, but Kennedy swoops onto it. They may not be done with yet. Kicks up towards Bontempelli. Protects the space and marks on his chest in front of Redmond. Kicks for Norton on the lead. He can't hang on. Mackay made the spoil. Front and centre. Fraser's hand pass to Richards. Hand pass to West. Almost brought down. Fends off. Gets a shot on goal, but not before the siren sounds. A dominant display by the Western Bulldogs in the opening term, in which they kicked 7 goals, 3, 45. So 7 goals from 15 inside 50s to the Bombers 9 for 3 behinds. And the Dogs lead by 42 points at the first break.
I think they've recovered from Darwin okay.
Yeah, they seem to be firing on all cylinders under the roof of Docklands, and they have made the fast start. And all of a sudden, Essendon fans are feeling like this is an all too familiar feeling. The goal kickers for the Western Bulldogs: West, Vandermeer, Richards, McNeil, Liberatore, Karmas and Bontempelli. All 7 of the Western Bulldogs goal scorers in the opening quarter. Earlier today, there were some surprise victories, with Geelong prevailing over Port Adelaide, 17-13, 115, the Power 5-9, 39. So Geelong booted 7 goals to 1 in the final term, and the injuries, the hamstrings to Patrick Dangerfield, Jason Horn-Francis, Jack Bowes, also to Lockie Jones and Sin as well with a hip injury. Jeremy Cameron booted 7 goals Well, the Dockers prevailed over GWS 13-17-95 to the Giants 8-13-61, in which Shea Bolton booted 3 and Michael Frederick with 3 as well. Great to have your company for Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
As each day begins,
get the facts you need to stay informed.
Every day, across your day.
Stay with Australia's trusted news source.
all the latest, all verified. Stay in the know with ABC News.
On ABC TV and ABC iView.
This is the Sir Doug Nicholls round.
On your radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app.
Bontempelli pulls it out, gets the goal into the first on the board. He's from the captain of the Western Bulldogs. Took it from the stoppage and wasted no time. And the first goal of the night is for the Doggies. Jones will grab it, hand passes it to McNeil, hand pass to Bontempelli, streaming into the 50. He'll put it into the right pocket.
What a kick.
And it'll be a mark to Riley West. Riley West having a good season as well. He puts this towards goals and he sends it home as well. So West makes the most of the service from his captain, and Bontempelli's got the first goal. He's had a hand in the second as well.
Duray with a driving kick into the pocket. It clears Vandermeer. He scraps with Redmond.
Well done.
Vandermeer keeps it alive. Hand pass to Karmas. Hand pass to McNeil. Great work for the Dogs. Around the corner on the right. And a great team lifter. And Vandermeer's got one as well in the celebration. The Bulldogs 3-2-20 to Essendon, 2 behinds.
No, Brent.
Hang on.
Brent's fallen for it because Vandermeer's gone down. Redmond's giving him one after because he beat him in the one-on-one.
So double goal potentially coming here before the ball is returned in the middle, and late Vandermeer. Vandermeer opens up the angle, curls it around the body, 2 for the price of 1. And the Bulldogs open up a break on the Bombers here. A rather fortunate double goal coming as a result of Mason Redmond's ill discipline. Hand pass away to English. In the right forward pocket to Liberatore to Richards. Fends off the efforts of Robert. Jackson onto his right. Ed Richards joins the goal kicking spree.
The 2025 Sir Doug Nicholls round.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
It was all the Bulldogs in that opening quarter, 7-3-45 to the Bombers, 3 behinds. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Andrew Mays is down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford.
Well, it was a pretty impressive first quarter, wasn't it, from the Dogs? Their ability just to get the job done inside, albeit Essendon were winning the clearances 10-8. After that, it was just like, we just spoke about it then off air, their ability, Essendon not to handball to blokes who were on the move. They're referring pressure, they get stationary, which is then allowing the tackle pressure of the Dogs. And once they do that, they outnumber and then they're away. You spoke about it during that quarter. Go back through the corridor. They got waves of numbers. I'm not sure how long they're going to let Riley Sanders just come up and be that outlet player from inside that defensive 50 and then just run the length of the field and create that overlap. He's been dangerous. Bailey Dale's been fantastic. Tom Liberatore is just going, what's he at, 12 already, kicked the goal. They got winners all over the ground, and I can't find one for Essendon, unfortunately.
No, it's a clinic at the minute for the Bulldogs. Archie Roberts is probably the one that's stood up a little bit for the Bombers. His first half of that quarter in particular was okay. He's looking okay, but you can't allow. You're spot on about Sanders. He's become that real connector, and just been allowed to do it. Essendon have said, "Don't worry about it. We just won't worry about this kid. We'll give you 13 disposals in the first quarter and we'll worry about it then." No, too late. The game is just about curtains here at the moment. Bailey Dale had 11 kicks, for goodness sake. He's one of the best in the competition, streaming through off half-back. You can't allow that. My goodness gracious me. I'm not sure where these players' heads are at the Bombers at the moment, but it wasn't in the game outside that first 2 minutes. And they've been absolutely schooled.
You can't coach intensity?
No. Well, we've talked about the tackle pressure, the tackling cactuses. You think they're a bit prickly, the Bulldogs when they've got the footy, so you can't tackle them.
Yep.
That's exactly what it looked like. They just fended them off, walked through tackles, and worse, it did it inside their own forward 50. So that's the problem for the Bombers. They've got to come out and show a bit of fight here, and they've still got to have a system of play. We haven't been able to see it yet because they haven't had enough free ball to do it. And just imagine if Aaron Norton had his marking hands on tonight. It could have been 10 goals in that first quarter for the Bulldogs.
Yep.
He coughed up a couple of opportunities. So it's a disaster for the Bombers. Brad Scott has all the work to do in this quarter. See what he does. Dylan Shields a sub for them tonight. And I reckon he's had a pretty good year, Dylan Shield, considering
second time in a row
where he started and what he became. I wouldn't mind betting there's a half an option for Brad Scott to pull a change here early doors.
So Brad Scott keeping his charges in for a long time. 7-3-45 is the Bulldogs' third largest score in the last 5 years in an opening term, and meanwhile They're able to take marks inside 50 at ease, with 5 marks inside their forward 50 from the 15 entries. Bit of work to be done for the Bombers to try and get their way back into this match. We'll bring some of your thoughts in a moment on the SMS 0437 774 774. As Goldstein and English get us going in the second term, it comes down to Sam Durham. He's worked off the ball though. Centrefield put his head over there trying to win it for the Bombers. Can't take it. Reed got it out to Merritt. Hand pass away. Slipping over was Pryor. Try to get a hand pass forward. English gets a hand pass away to Fraser. Hand pass to Kennedy. Needs support. Fires the hand pass away to Ed Richards. Now to Bailey Dale, the kick inside 50. West comes leading out, channels into Ben Mackay, and the Bulldogs in the end will lose possession as Roberts works it out to McGrath, and now to Nick Martin.
Martin back to Pryor, hand passes it to Roberts, hand passes it backwards to Laverty, and play will be stopped with Riley West down.
Yeah, probably the right call.
Yeah, it looked like was it a head clash in the end with Laverty?
I think he's holding his chest when he first came up, but he's a tough little bugger, isn't he? I love the way he attacks the footy in the air.
So this is the reaction to the Lockie Schultz situation.
Yes.
Riley West is fine. He's up and about. He's fine.
Yep.
So have we overdone that?
And potentially the Aaron Francis one last time, and they didn't stop it.
Yeah, well, true.
We've held play up.
But the ball was very close to where West was, I think, in the end, as Laverty goes for the long kick out, and it'll be a boundary throw in.
I think we've got to find a happy medium somewhere there. Half.
So I'm just wondering where that is, because Riley West is now fine. Like, he's rolling, he's up and about. He had a bit of he was stunned for a bit, really crunched into Mackay. It's a great contest.
Yeah,
but
that's what footy is, isn't it? Like, if you can't stay in the game, you don't stop the play. You're 17 v 18 at that point in time. Anyway.
So toss back in, and Martin will take it. Hand pass to Roberts. He's dispossessed of the footy. Play on. Ball spilled at Artie Jones. Hand pass to English. Inside 50 will go for the Dogs. West was there, so was Vandermeer, and in the end, they're happy to just see it out of play for a throw in.
If you're Brad Scott, you reckon after quarter time, you give him a bit of a burst, try to put some things in place to make it go your way early, and all of a sudden your defending 50 is stock full of Bulldogs again.
So ball tossed in, Goldstein just punches it away. It'll go right to the boundary line as well for a throw-in this time at the top of the 50 for the Western Bulldogs. You mentioned Dylan Shield, the sub for Essendon, and it's Lockie Bramble for the Western Bulldogs tonight. Both unused after the first quarter as the Doggies lead by 42 points.
Maisie, did Brad Scott look animated down there at quarter time?
No, he's actually quite measured, half, so he was pretty intent when he got out to his magnets, but basically went through the team plans and didn't really point any fingers or anything. He only spoke to them for about 90 seconds. It was intense, but not animated.
And what wheels was Bevo running with, mate?
Looked like sort of almost a golf shoe.
Oh,
like
okay. Didn't want to lose his footing on the way out.
Can be slippery here.
Western Bulldogs by 42 points. Thanks, Maisie. Flicked over the back by Tim English. A chance for Ed Richards. Jags it on his left. Inside 50. McGrath dropped the mark for the Bombers. Tackled by Artie Jones. Hand pass comes out to Roberts. Under pressure, got it to Durham. And now to McGrath. Everything's in a hurry for the Bombers at the moment. Back to Setterfield. Back to Pryor. Inside the defensive 50. Hand pass from Reed over the top to Roberts. Richards offers chase. His hand pass didn't hit the target. It might cost them. Onto it, Fraser. Steadies towards goal. Reed, great tackle. Zach Reed just got him at the last moment. His kick trickles across the goal face and it's picked up by Laverty in the end. The Bombers defender away to Redmond. He kicks out to Ben Mackay, who marks it right half back.
Artie Jones done a string, I reckon. We'll get Maisie under that. He's limping off.
So Mackay kicks it towards Kako. Artie Jones back in the side as well this week, and he's done some nice things in the first quarter, so we'll see what comes of that.
It's pretty flat.
So Kako just chips it across to Andy McGrath, who got the 3 votes from Brett Delidio last week. Chips it across backwards towards Laverty and moves it to Jackson Pryor by foot, who then chips it to Reed.
So they're a player down at the moment. Now Norton's just come on.
So Reed goes that way looking for Goldstein. Norton ran in front of him and went over the top of their heads, and it'll be a boundary throw in.
As Half mentioned straight away, that doesn't look good. Lockie Bramble out to warm up, and you'd think he'd be injected pretty soon.
Thanks, Maisie. As the ball's tossed in front of you, right in front of you, over the top is Kennedy. He takes it, shoves it on his boot, it goes high, and Sanders will be there at the drop and holds on to a chest mark. And sitting on his bum, he hand passes it across to Kennedy. Hand pass to Liberatore. Centre half forward for the Dogs, goes back inside 50. Another one for the Western Bulldogs. Fraser will find himself in some space ahead of Pryor. Runs past Pryor, and then Pryor catches him. He can still get the hand pass away. It'll be Duray that takes it. Can't keep it in. And a boundary throw in inside the Western Bulldogs, attacking 50 again. 7-3-45 the Dogs. Essendon just 3 behinds. Yet to score a goal. 4.5 minutes played into this second term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Toss back into play. Sam Durham alongside Ed Richards. Merritt alongside Bontempelli. As English knocks it down to the front. Liberatore works centre field underneath. Jags it back towards the teeth of goal. Karmas comes leading out. Reid made the spoil. Hard against the boundary. Jams it onto his boot. A relieving kick up towards Kako, who's shoved underneath it. And Taylor DeRay takes the mark for the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's just a man versus a boy, isn't it, really? In his first year, Kako.
Tries to poke it to Johannesson. Redmond might have got him high if he didn't claim the mark. Jason Johannesson out to the left, just inside 50. He had enough of the mark, but Redmond would have given away high contact regardless.
He's got this kick in him, half you think. Yeah, on the run, you'd probably back him in. He's gone back far enough to give himself some momentum.
Well, I think that's right. I think that's the key to it for him. Back in the old days, he wouldn't have any hesitation.
Yep.
Got some challenges with his body the last couple of years.
Featured in just the 9 games last season, but the Norm Smith medalist on the run from 52 opens up the angle. Misses to the left-hand side. It's a 43-point lead the way of the Western Bulldogs. 5 minutes gone second term. A cheerio to those listening to us overseas through the ABC Listen app. Des is one on the fast train from Naples to Milan and loving the ABC Listen app.
Good luck to you,
nice.
Des.
European summer as McGrath brings the footy out. Took 3 bounces and then got it across to Setterfield, who chipped down towards Caddy.
Just send a message back. What's sort of on offer in the kitchen there? I'd like to know what they're
on
doing
the train.
Yeah. I don't think the fast train provides food.
Surely.
So Dale now has stolen back the footy for the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass to Lobb. He hand passes it to Kennedy. Flicks it across to Liberatore. And again, the Western Bulldogs players find themselves in plenty of space. There's 2 Western Bulldogs players vying for the footy. O'Donnell wins out. Hand passes it down to Fraser. He's tackled. Can get the hand pass back to O'Donnell. Puts a long kick inside 50. Vandermeer at the back. Rises. Can't take the mark. Falls to the back. Pryor's going to be under all sorts of trouble. West tackles. Wins the footy back. Goals. It's 2 for Riley West, and this time he did both the tackling and the goaling. And Riley West gets the first of the second term, and that is 8 goals for the Dogs. 8-4-52, Essendon just 3 behind. 7 minutes played. It's Sir Doug Nicholls round 10, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Well, how do you? I mean, you can't really aim only at the Essendon backs here because the midfield are getting torched. And there was 3 or 4 of them that were just all on their own, just about half. Yeah. They could have raffled it out. There was O'Donnell and Fraser got tackled, but still had enough time just to flick it over the back, get it inside. And then, was it West? I think Vandermeer went for the big mark, didn't he? But then they come over the back. West, great for defensive 50 tackling work, and I love that. Inside forward 50 tackling work. Stood over Pryor there at the end. I'm not overly wrapped with that sort of behaviour, but good job to kick the goal.
8 unanswered goals to start the match the way of the Western Bulldogs, and they might be adding to that. English gets the clearance, hand pass away to Kennedy. 1-2 with Liberatore, inside 50 towards Norton. Well done by Mackay. Nudge him underneath and takes the intercepting mark for the Bombers. He looks to chip it out to right half back, where Duursma has it. 8-4-52 the Western Bulldogs, so the Bombers 3 behinds. 6 clearances to none in this second quarter, the way of the Western Bulldogs. Obviously 6 inside 50s alongside with that as well. So Nate Caddy's had to work up the ground. He marks centre wing and sends it up towards Perkins, who easily has worked underneath it in the end. It was a 2-on-1, and Lobb provides the support for Bailey Williams at left half back.
Looks like he'll load up on the kick and goes right down the wing. You'll get it almost to left half forward, but it's an Essendon mark. Mackay stands back, holds on to it, plays on quickly in a hand pass across to Redmond, who kicks back defensively to Reid. He's playing his 9th game this season after managing 9 across the past 4 years, having had so many injuries.
So this is more Essendon, right? So they're a slow build-up team. So this is the first time we've really seen that to any great degree. They've played a bit fast tonight. The Bulldogs make you play a bit more chaos. And they don't come up together. They don't move along the ground or up and down the ground together because they're not used to it. So when they get a chance to hold the ball and kick and mark, they can work up the ground together. Turnover here's a problem.
They have turned over the ball, and it's Dale that takes it, puts it into the centre square where McNeil has a go at it, hand passes it across to Bontempelli, just darts a kick in towards Kennedy. To Richards,
Showtime.
Who marks with just one hand. He just gathered it with his right hand and on the fingertips as well. That was excellent from Ed Richards.
Yeah, a nice little kick there from Matty Kennedy too, wasn't it? I'm not like he asked a fair bit of Ed Richards there. He had to stick it in the 1 minute. But that's a touch that they're in at the moment, isn't it? Like they're going for stuff and pulling it all off.
Ed Richards will kick from almost directly in front. Signed on to 20-30 this week. Puts the kick towards the goal and slots this one through for the Doggies. That is 9 in a row. And it's Ed Richards' second as well. 9-4-58. Essendon just the 3 behinds. It's a 55-point lead. The Doggies have opened up. 10 minutes played in this second term. Before the thoughts about ABC sport experts, let's head down to Andrew Mays on the boundary.
Yeah, just confirming that sub has been made. So sub vest off and paperwork done for Lockie Bramble. He's into the game. And Artie Jones out with that hamstring injury.
So that's a blow for Artie Jones, but the Bulldogs are absolutely breathing fire here at the moment. So they're not losing too much sleep about that just at the minute. The Bombers can't lay a glove on them. We talked about the clearance numbers this quarter. Clinchy before, it's now 7-0. 6-0, 7-0 tackles though. What about that? Tackles are the 3-all. 7 inside 50-0 as well, which is a problem. Contested possession is an issue. They just can't lay a glove on them. That's the biggest issue. Defensively, they've got no foundation at all against the Bulldogs, the Bombers tonight. It's just really unusual to see at this level, Lids. I can't remember seeing a game of recent times where one team has utterly dominated the other.
From a contest side of things, we want to see the Bombers up and running, but how long can this continue on for as Richards breaks away from the tackle of Perkins? Hand pass to Dale, kicks out towards Davidson, can't hang on to the mark. He knocks it forward to Richards at right half forward. Now pass back to Bailey Dale, one way then the other. Pulls his kick in the middle of the crowd. Johannesson with his fingertips is able to juggle it just in front of Kako.
They're just going to play one-handed from here on in.
Yes. They are playing with a hand tied behind their back at the moment. He gets it out to DeRay inside 50. Bontempelli crashes into the back of his teammate Williams, and Davidson keeps it alive. Kicks it around his body towards McNeil. Setterfield gets across and spoils it through for a minor score. 9-5-59 the Western Bulldogs to Essendon 3 behinds. 12 minutes gone, second quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Have Essendon looked threatening at any stage tonight?
No, I was just thinking that. Where is their score? Oh, no.
Redmond almost turns it over. Sanders gets a fingertip to it, and Dale can take it. Hand pass it away to Harms. Hand pass back to Sanders. Hand pass to Dale. Hand pass to Fraser. He flicks it across to McNeil, who sprays this one across the face of the goals, but it's another shot from the Western Bulldogs, and this time a defensive 50 turnover against the Bombers. Margin out to 57 points, 12 minutes gone in this second term on ABC Sport.
Andy McGrath looks to bring the Bombers back into play. Kicks out towards Langford, who had to crash into Williams to make a contest, and offhands the ball goes out of play.
So I'm just looking at Zach Merritt on the boundary line at the moment. He's talking to the runner, Travis Cloak, from Champion Pie.
And Dog.
And Dog, spot on. His heart's torn tonight.
They need something. The Bombers, certainly this game.
Well, who's standing up? That was sort of where I was getting at. Merritt's on the bench. Who's standing up for the Bombers to try and right this ship a bit?
Oh, no.
Laverty with a centering kick. He's turned it straight over. Harms takes the mark. Looks up. West is in the pocket. Sends it towards him. Can't get it over the top of Redmond.
No, it was a bad option.
Down in the end.
Pulled the trigger too early.
Yep.
Didn't allow West to get into his move. Find the space, just kicked it, and Mason Redmond read it really well.
Here's the old adage, it's the fight in the dog, not the size of the dog for Riley West as they've turned it over the Bombers. Dersma couldn't hang on, and Bailey Dale, here's the trouble. A swinging right boot towards goal, it's across the face. Bontempelli wrestling in the end.
He's holding.
Dragged down Laverty, and Laverty will get the free kick. They are under siege, the Essendon defence at the moment, with the Western Bulldogs leading by 57 points.
They cannot get the ball outside the defensive half.
They have barely had a look in front of the forward 50. You're right half for the Bombers as Laverty just goes long to a pack outer side of the ground. Langford has front position and can run onto it and work the footy. In the end, he kicks laterally towards Hobbs, marks it. Hand pass across to Caldwell, who works it across to the broadcast side of the ground and kicks it towards Dersma. Marks right on the logo and then chips it forward towards Martin. Still a few kicks from goals, the Bombers. It's a kick right to centre half forward where Ben Hobbs is marked after running down, and he's still just outside 50 for the Bombers.
It's with their first inside loss for the quarter.
It's approach.
Oh, maybe.
No, it won't be.
No, it won't.
Because he'll chip backwards, concede 20 metres.
This might be.
Across to Archie Roberts.
Or an inside 50 watch here.
So Archie Roberts is darting left and right. Doesn't really know where to go, and it will be an inside 50 for Essendon in the end. Harms at front position though. Dale will take it, spinning around the 360. Hand pass to Harms, and the Western Bulldogs will get it out of defence.
Up towards the wing where Laverty was able to win it for the Bombers. Hand pass back to Roberts, and now the hand pass to Redmond. Dodging and weaving on the wing. He has to chip it back to McGrath. He runs away from Davison and tries to switch onto the far side. It bounces wide of Pryor. He's got a good 5 metres though onto Ray, so he has enough time to gather and looks up to Durham, who's on a long lead at right half forward. So they stretch the ground as wide as they possibly can. Can they find their second inside 50 for the quarter? It's 10 at the other end. As Durham looks in to the lead of Peter Wright, down low, can't hang on to it. Spills out at the last moment. Langford gets the hand pass to Kako. Hand pass to Durham. Can he do it all himself? Feeds the hand pass away. In the right forward pocket, Sardal Hooley with a firing shot towards the teeth of goal. Caddy's in the pack, or was it juggled by Dersma on the behind line? Still go upstairs.
I think we'll be looking at it.
I don't think so.
Was it completed before?
I think we'll be looking at it.
He was over the line.
Umpire Wallace is very keen, very early to have a look at that.
Western Bulldogs 9-6-60 to Essendon, 3 behinds. Is this the moment they can get their first goal of the match at the 15-minute mark of the second term?
I think Chelsea thinks it's a behind. Umpire Chelsea Roffey. Goal umpire.
Score review taking place. It looks like from that Dersma had enough of the footy in control before he crossed the behind line. So let's see Brett Delidio's theory that pushing the right button should be relatively simple here.
Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Oh, don't scroll too fast. Scroll too fast.
Not 100% convinced?
Just in charge of the buttons.
So we can see the ball's controlled before crossing the back of the behind.
Here we go. First chance for a goal.
So Dersma is right up against the left behind post, but only, 3 metres out from goal, so he just has to work the angle here.
I'll tell you, if he misses this,
we're in for a long night for Essendon.
Boy, they could do with a bow and arrow right now. Can he get them going?
Oh, he couldn't pull that out now. That'd be up there with Constanti shushing the crowd at 80 points down.
He's gone back a long way.
He's gone back a fair way in the left forward pocket, up against the left behind post. Dersma opens up the angle, curls it through, and they have their first.
Up the Bombers!
At the 16-minute mark of the second quarter, Dersma kicks the Bombers on the board, and they're 1-3-9, but the Bulldogs have put on 9 at the other end. 9-6-60, just their second inside 50 for the quarter, while the Western Bulldogs have had 11 inside 50s. 9-6-60 to 1-3-9. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
He read the play well there, just popping it through and not bringing it out to Sully. I'm a bit nervous about that when boys get caught up in their celebrations versus actually what's going on in the game half. But geez, they needed that, didn't they? I mean, it took an incredible mark or a good mark from an offside winger coming down to be able to grab it. Nate Caddy probably had a pretty good play on it as well, but nice finish. Took a while to get there. What are we at? We've got 8 minutes to go in the second term here, Clinchy. Got their first goal on the board. Let's go.
First 9 goals of the game to the Western Bulldogs. Essendon with their first for the match as Kennedy takes it out from the middle. It's stolen by Merritt. Here's Hobbs. They'll go inside 50 again here, the Bombers. Trying to get on a run. In it goes. It's punched away by O'Donnell ahead of Caddy. The bounce will favour O'Donnell as well, and Caddy will tackle in a little and take it over the line, but it will be a throw-in inside 50 for Essendon.
Well, good pressure off the front of the square there from the Bombers. Kennedy had a bit of time and space, fed the ball back from the clearance and just ran out of room because he was pressured. So that was good. A little bit of urgency and energy into the Bombers here.
Spins the ball back in. It's punched away by Wright. Fraser chasing after it, but Merritt steals it back. Hand pass to Hobbs, and he'll set up the kick by kicking it towards Daywicks and Martin. Both get a fingertip and spills to the bottom to Liberatore. Just spirals a kick outside of defence for the Western Bulldogs. McGrath's at the drop for the Bombers. Hand pass to Laverty, and he'll chip it across to Caldwell, who'll mark it left half forward.
Caldwell looking to send the Bombers inside 50 once more for a 4th time this quarter. Veers out to the right. Long kick looking for Peter Wright or Caddy. Either's in the pack. Liberatore front and centre. Hand pass away to O'Donnell. Nice sidestep from Bailey Dale. He sold them a Muru dance as he swings back on his right. Kicks up towards Riley West, who used his body against Laverty. Legally, says the umpire, as West gets the hand pass out to Harms. Play on advantage for the Bulldogs as Liberatore through the middle of the ground spots McNeil at the last moment. He looks up and has Karmas one-on-one with Reid. He's happy to just hold it for a couple of moments, McNeil.
Yeah, had to wait for the troops to arrive. They're all back in defensive 50.
Short to DeRay, who chips it wider still to Riley West. Up on the wing, waits for the leads into space. Kennedy offers one of those. He's able to work Archie Roberts underneath it. Kicks looking for Karmas. It's over his fingertips. And Mason Redmond getting back. Hand pass away to the Bombers captains. That mirrored out of defence. Kicks up to Laverty. Little shove from Sanders. Got away with one there. And in the end, it's an awkward ball, which is seen out of play for Day Wicks. Off his hands and over the boundary line for a throw-in as he was trying to get booked to ball.
What did Archie Day Wicks say after his debut game last week, Lids?
You need to get those black boots off and get into the yellow ones. Take my advice. The fast ones.
He has taken your advice, so he's got some schmick-looking boots on tonight. As the ball's tossed in, he goes after this as well in kind of white and greeny boots. Hand passes it away. Bramble tries to take it. It's taken by Cleary of the Dogs. Hand pass to Sanders. Hand pass across to Fraser, who spirals a kick inside 50 towards Martin, who is bumped by Davidson. Martin marks and Davidson bumps him, and it will be a 50-metre penalty as well.
Really?
For Nick Martin.
Might have been the Army Award winner you were talking about there.
So Nick Martin with a bounce, and he plays on inside 54 Essendon. It's a 2-on-1.
But here's the thing.
Western Bulldogs with the numbers, and Lobb wins out.
So that's what I was talking about before, Loz. They're not a fast-play team, Essendon. So they get that 50. No one's ready for it.
Yeah.
So they're better off just holding on to the footy and waiting for the troops to arrive.
Here's Bailey Dale from half-back, kicks up towards Harms. He was dragged down by Jaden Laverty. Free kick going the way of the Bulldogs in front of the two benches. The Dogs by 51 points. Comes inboard to Liberatore, who has some space. Hand pass over the top to Sanders. Hand pass is wide at Davison. Redmond used his body well, put on the block. Hand pass away to Setterfield. Had to wear the contact of Kennedy. Hand pass to Hobbs, to Daywicks, to Laverty, and now to McGrath. Looks to switch across half-back. Peter Wright's worked a long way down the field. He marks it right half-back. Must have hold up because there's no options down the wing.
So that's how they play. There's no point doing that and trying to be fast because there's no one there to support you. Now, be that right or wrong, that's how they do it.
At least they've got a little bit of a spark in the last few minutes we haven't seen from the game prior to this moment. But the kick down will be intercepted by Lobb, who chips backwards into defensive 50 towards Lockie Bramble. The sub on for Artie Jones, who looked like he's gone off with a hamstring injury and subbed out in the second quarter. Earlier in this quarter, the kick comes out and will be chipped towards Harms, who moves it towards Bontempelli. Hand pass back to Harms, who's kept running. Hand pass to Dale, who takes it, fends off Merritt, and just darts the kick right into the centre, looking for Kennedy. Pryor reads it well and chops it off. Hand pass to Martin, flicks it to McGrath, moves it by hands as well towards Perkins, who will find a way to get it to Al Hooley, and he'll put it on the boot this time. Off to right half forward to Langford, battling with Lobb, who'll win out here, has to go and collect the ball, but Langford with the footy, right half forward, puts the kick to centre half forward, and it's a good ball in the end for Martin, who marks. He's 55 metres out from goal, who will go into the left forward pocket. Merritt was down there on his own, but by the time the kick got there, a couple of Dogs defenders have got back and forced the ball over the boundary for a throw-in. Still the Western Bulldogs ahead by 51 points. The Bombers kicking most recent goal of the game, which is also their only, and we've played 22 minutes in this second quarter.
It was 10 inside 50s to nil at the start of this quarter. In the last little bit, 6-3 in favour of the Bombers. So it's a better response.
Peter Wright went up uncontested in the ruck, got it down to Setterfield. Hand pass to Hobbs, kicks towards full forward. Chopped off though by Ed Richards. Kicks the Bulldogs up to half-back. Davidson tries to juggle the mark. Not paid as it was off hands. He touches the footy on the turf under the roof of Docklands and kicks up to English. He's done well, the good doctor, as he gets it to the ruckman. He comes back inboard to Davidson, risky, as Day Wicks laid the tackle, and then Sanders just had to wear the Perkins tackle, and the umpire will ball it up on the broadcast wing.
Been engaged during the week, Timmy English.
He did.
To Rudy Ellis from the
Melbourne
Melbourne
big
Vixens.
kids, aren't they?
Massive, tall, blonde kids. Massive.
I hadn't thought that far down the path. But
that's where I went straight away.
Yeah, first thing I saw.
Ed Richards for the Bulldogs. Sends him up towards half forward.
Massive.
Norton was worked out of it in the end by Zach Reed. Ball still at the top of the 50 for the Dogs. Liberatore, hand pass away to Sanders, who's trying to get away from Daywicks, who got him by the very back of the jumper. Hand pass to Harms, into the pocket for Kennedy. Couldn't complete the mark. Spills to Buku Karmas, and it's across the face of goal and through for a minor score. Sardal Hooley getting back, and it's a 52-point lead the way of the Western Bulldogs as they quickly bring it back in through Andy McGrath. He works it up to Langford.
No one working though. They just have not got the high half forwards that are willing to break through that barrier, are they? Go and get in front of your opponent to break the paint.
He holds on to it for a while, Langford, then kicks towards Durham, who's in the centre of Docklands, but plenty of dogs around him. It's a hand pass from Liberatore towards Richards, just tries to push it to Bontempelli. Setterfield can pick it up for Essendon, hand pass to Hobbs, hand pass to Al Hulu, streaming down the city wing of Docklands, and he'll chip it and find a mark in Goldstein. 55 metres out from goal. Goldstein swings around, puts it on the boot towards right. Two hands, can't take the mark. Lobb could get a tap to it. Cleary with it for the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass to Johannesson, hand pass to Richards, and he'll be able to clear the kick out of the Dogs' defence and find the safe hands of Williams.
He keeps going. This is the difference.
Gets it back to Ed Richards, who's kept running. Takes a bounce on the outer side.
Bontempelli deep.
Up towards left half forward. Bonds deep. Can he get it to him? It's out wide of him at left half. In the left forward pocket, and in the end it rolls end over end out of play.
Downfielder, I think.
Oh, yeah, downfield, yeah. Was that a push as he kicks, was it? Must have been.
The Bond stopped running. I was wondering why that happened.
So I think Setterfield has crashed into
Ed Richards.
He got his kick away, so downfield free kick, and would you believe it, the Bond has missed out to Aaron Norton, who's claimed and said, thank you, I'll take this shot on goal in the left forward pocket.
They're both on the wrong side.
Probably was marginally close to the ball.
I'll take the Bont though.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Aaron Norton looking to answer back for the Western Bulldogs. He comes in and steers it straight through the middle.
He showed you.
Up yours, Lids.
Becomes the 9th individual goal kicker for the Western Bulldogs tonight. And they answer the Xavier Dersma goal at the other end. It's back to 58 points, which is the biggest lead of the match so far. 7 goals to none in the first quarter. It's 3 goals to 1 in the second. 10-7-67 to the Bombers, 1-3-9. Brett DeLidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Just seen the replay too. That's not a downfield.
Nah, it's rubbish.
In play. We're getting way too precious with that stuff. That's garbage, just by the way. But you picked it up, Lids. You talked about before when Essendon had the ball half back and they're trying to transition, there was no one running through the middle of the ground. Those high half forwards, midfielders, they weren't pushing forward and trying to stretch the Dogs' defence or create some options through the middle of the ground. And then you see Ed Richards, who gets the ball inside defensive 50 as a part of their chain and continues to push as they work the ball wide. He runs through the middle of the ground and creates an opportunity for them to have the overlap and extra number. That's the difference in a nutshell.
Beautiful bounce in the middle. Goldstein taps it out. Liberatore picks it up. He'll swivel around and put it on his left boot. Right inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Norton at the front taps it down towards McNeil, who tried to move it on quickly. Reid took it for the Bombers. Hand pass to Mackay. Hand pass to McGrath, who's in plenty of trouble on the boundary line. Stolen by Norton, who hand passes it to McNeil, who'll just have a shot at goals himself, but he misses. And it's just a behind for Lockie McNeil, who doesn't get to add to his goal that he's got tonight. But does mean that the Western Bulldogs go out to a 59-point lead late in the first half. 27 minutes played in this second term.
Did you see those stats come up on the big screen? Bailey Dale's at 25.
25. My hat.
Just bringing his own footy in the end. As Roberts brings the Bombers out of defence up towards Dersma. And marks at left half back. Yes, Bailey Dale with 25 disposals, including 20 kicks.
Libba's at 23, mind you.
Yes. Dersma up towards Langford at half forward. Can't take the mark. Liberatore slides in between he and Merritt. His kick is back towards the Bombers' goal as Wright tries to keep it alive. Hand pass inboard to Langford. Dragged down when he didn't have possession. And get a free kick at left half forward.
Great chance here for the Bombers.
Closing in on half time. Langford veers out to the right, chips it into the pocket. He's asking a lot of Merritt. Lob in from the side. Can't hang on to the mark, and Richards gathers for the Bulldogs. Hand pass to Bontempelli to Kennedy. Kicks out towards Davidson, and the Bulldogs are out of defence.
Davidson will hand pass across to Johannesson, who takes a bounce. Fraser is all by himself as he runs inside forward 50. The kick will bounce and not well for him as Dersma just goes in there and pulls it out and takes it for the Bombers. And he kicks it across to Reid. Probably if that kick was even 10 metres longer, Fraser could have just run onto it.
Or he could have just come forward, Loz.
Or he could have just made
running for an open goal square. Oh.
You want to kick it 90.
It's Essendon with the footy as Nick Martin takes it. Hand pass back to Setterfield. Hand pass to Redmond. And he just has a slow jog to move it forward to Caddy. Hand passes it away back to Redmond, shoves it on his boot, and he'll kick towards the Dockland side of the ground. Archie Roberts with it will hand pass it away to Dersma. And a lot of those Essendon players look spent as the siren sounds.
That's a problem.
For half time. And it was a fruitful quarter for the Western Bulldogs, perhaps not as fruitful as that first one where they kicked 7 goals 3.
They're all keeled over.
That is an incredible sight.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
On the half-time siren, as you described, Loz, I reckon 3/4 of the Essendon side had their hands on their hips, leaning over in exhaustion and frustration.
Yep. They've been chasing
They've got one
backside.
goal. They're exhausted, and all they put on the board for that whole quarter was one goal. So it is the Bombers 1-3-9, kicking their first goal in the second term. The Western Bulldogs 10-8-68, out to a 59-point lead at half time. Xavier Dersma, the only goal kicker for Essendon, whereas for the Western Bulldogs, there's goals everywhere. Riley West has got a couple, and then Ed Richards, Marcus Bontempelli, Liberatore, Vandermeer, Karmas, McNeil and Norton, all with singles for the Western Bulldogs.
There's a lot of gesturing from the Essendon players as they come together to walk off. About, arms as if to say, well, what's going on here? How come you didn't do that? That sort of gesturing. There's a fair few questions to be answered, I reckon, at half time. The Bulldogs, meanwhile, sit there and wonder what this margin can become.
Yep, foot on the throat.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a kill that you really boost the percentage, but you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way and not getting ahead of yourself. You're still rewarding your teammate for running past, not trying to fill the boots too much. And I'm pretty sure that's what the message would be, right? Continue to stick to the system, the process that has got us here, and you do that, you'll get the rewards, boys. Don't worry about that. But as for Essendon, you go in there and just hope that the coach has got the answers. Well, why are we buggering this up? What's going on? Where are we falling down? I would have thought it'd be going straight to your half forwards and your mids. Start to break the bubble. Get on the outside of your opponent. See if you can get on the outside. Test them out to open up and get those easy little uncontested marks on the outside. Or we can come back through the middle then, which is exactly what Vandermeer and McNeil and Sanders, the midfielders of Richards, Liberatore, they are bussing their backsides to try and get in front of their opponent. So not that hard to sell, but hard to do. I get it. Easy to talk about.
Well, especially when you're tired too. If that's the way it's going to be at half time, if I'm the Bulldogs and seeing that, I'm licking my lips thinking, oh, hang on, boys, we've got these bombs.
Yeah.
They've been chasing backside for a half. They haven't looked like it. They'll be deflated. Have no confidence. Now they've got no energy. This is good for us. If we can just keep, as you said, foot on the throat, keep doing the right things, have the right habits, we can make this a really big day at the office.
Get the first one, I reckon, and that deflates you. When you've had the big pep talk, right, we're ready to go, let's come back out here, boys, fire on the first shot. Oh, man, they've kicked another one.
Let's get Kako up on the ball from Brad Scott. Just give me 5 minutes of Isaac, 10 minutes of Isaac Kako on ball, see what he can do. He's doing nothing else at the moment. The ball's not in the forward line, so you might as well try and see what else you've got. Flip a few magnets here, try something.
The Bombers 1-3-9, they equal lowest total in a first half since 2016.
Wow.
So while a lot of the hype was around the fact that they'd won 5 of their last 6, there was a reference to the teams in which they played in the bottom third of the ladder.
Exactly.
How good have the Bulldogs been in that first half, and how much is the credit deserving in their camp?
Oh, heaps. I think they're slick. Their ability, they look like they're men versus the boys. They're walking through tackles. Their ability to get their hands free and then feed it off to their runners is... It's always been one of their strong suits. I reckon that was what they went to school on in 2016. Their ability to, their handball chains and their ability to flip out those little quick ones. They're doing that at a great level, but now they're kicking it well as well, back into the middle of the ground, opening up. I mean, if you allow Bailey Dale to have 20 kicks to half time, like that's a day. That's not a half time stat line.
Meters gains, he got 600?
600. Yeah, 594. And there's 6 score involvements from half back, please. If you're not doing anything as a half forward, go and stand next to him. You'll go near the footy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's the sort of stuff that I think, start to give some little jobs out there if I'm Brad Scott to see whether you can learn or educate your younger players to see what then they can take into next week's game.
32 insides to 17. Like Essendon are the 15th ranked team in terms of inside 50s for the year so far. The Dogs are second. They might get a bit of a boost tonight the way things are going, but they just can't get the ball. They can't move the ball. This is what we've talked about through that second quarter, that they're caught in between what the game is offering them and what they are. When they play control games, so the game's control and chaos. If you break it down into control versus chaos, chaos is ground balls, open play, that sort of stuff. Then you've got control is kick mark, uncontested mark, tempo footy. That's control. When Essendon play control games, they're 5-0. So there's 5 wins. They've played control footy against those teams in the bottom third. In the other games that have been more chaotic, they haven't found an answer. So the Bulldogs make you play chaos because they put that much pressure on. They squeeze up. They make you find a way past you. So you've got to do that through...
And they play fast as well.
Through motion. And that's right. They'll get you on the way back through motion. So the Bombers aren't that team, but they've been forced to be that team. And it looks totally disjointed.
Yes.
When you look at it from up here, and we've got a really good vantage point up on the second level here at Docklands, we can see how disjointed it is when it goes from one end to the other. There's a massive gap in the middle of the ground. Either the forwards don't come up and meet, or the backs don't come up and support. And then you get this massive big chasm in the middle of the ground where the Bulldogs get the ball back inevitably, and they've got all the space to work back in to their forward 50, and it's causing absolute chaos.
Thoughts of Daniel Harford and Brett Delidia, your experts on ABC Sport. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Glenn's from Denny reminds me of back in the 90s when nobody could beat Kevin Sheedy's Bombers except my Bulldogs right to the end of the season. Sweet revenge. Simon from Adelaide makes the reference that the Bombers were held goalless in the final term last week against the Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
Managed just the 2 goals in third quarter, so combine that's 3 goals in 4 quarters of footy. So there's a little bit of a reflection there. Fran's been in touch as well. I'm calling it, guys, Luke Beveridge for Coach of the Year. Oh, she's a Happy Pies fan.
Shoes of the Year, sure.
We'll give him the Shoes of the Year for tonight, and we'll debate the Coach of the Year.
And the coaching line of the year, agitating a milkshake.
Yes,
that was pretty strong on yesterday. I think it was in the press conference.
That was very good. James in Pakenham says, what do the Indigenous symbols at the 50-metre arc in the centre square stand for? I think that's some artwork. But
imagine that's 50 metres. Is it 50?
That's what I thought it was.
That's what I would have thought it would be.
Asked some questions during the halftime break, and Mark in Adelaide wondering what the crowd is. Well, it'd have to be
chockers.
Yeah.
What, 40 plus?
Yeah,
easily.
Over 40. Yep.
So I guess we'll get confirmation there in the final term, but
at the moment anyway.
Doesn't look like there's too many
Not sure if they come back.
Whether
See what happens after half time.
Yes, after the main break is anyone's guess. The Bombers trailing by 59 points. The Western Bulldogs with 10 goals to 1 in the first half. Let's bring you the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News, I'm Thanmaya Navada. The Prime Minister is describing the 13-year prison term handed to Australian man Oscar Jenkins by Russia as an outrage. The 33-year-old former Melbourne teacher has been found guilty of fighting as a mercenary with Ukraine in what the Foreign Minister has described as a sham trial. The government insists Mr Jenkins is a war criminal, as he was a fully serving member of the Ukrainian armed forces and should be treated in accordance with international law. Anthony Albanese says the government will continue to advocate for his release.
This sentence by Russia is an outrage. It is a continuation of the way that they have behaved, abrogating their international responsibilities. This conflict began with them choosing to invade a sovereign nation and to abrogate their responsibility to uphold international law.
The Prime Minister is currently in Rome joining world leaders ahead of the inauguration mass for newly elected Pope Leo XIV. Pope Leo was elected as the 267th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church after a 2-day conclave at the Sistine Chapel. Archbishop of Perth, Timothy Costello, says Anthony Albanese's presence boosts Australia's standing in the Catholic world.
Under Prime Minister Rudd, the diplomatic relations between the Vatican and Australia were strengthened, and since then we've had our own ambassador to the Vatican, so the relationship between Australia and the Holy See is already really well established, and I think the presence of the Prime Minister here adds to that.
The coach of the Collingwood Football Club has broken down during a post-game interview following the death of former West Coast Eagles player Adam Selwood. Natasha Shapova reports.
41-year-old Adam Selwood has died just months after his twin brother and former Brisbane Lions player Troy Selwood died by suicide. Collingwood coach Craig McRae left a post-game interview after he became emotional while equating the club to a family. Adam's brother Scott Selwood joined the Pies in 2019 and is now a forwards coach. Adam is remembered as a loving husband, father and son. Cats players have worn black armbands in their game against Port Adelaide as a mark of respect.
If you or someone you know needs someone to talk to, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14 or Beyond Blue on 1300 22 4636. A 28-year-old man who allegedly stabbed one immigration detention centre contractor and assaulted another has been arrested and charged. On Thursday morning, officers were called to a suburb in Sydney's west over reports a 54-year-old man had been stabbed and a 36-year-old man had been assaulted. The man was refused bail and is expected to appear at Parramatta Local Court on Sunday. British police have charged 3 Iranian nationals on suspicion of assisting Iran's intelligence service. Here's the BBC's Greg McKenzie.
These 3 have been charged with endangering conduct likely to assist a foreign intelligence service. Now, these 3 individuals were arrested way back on the 3rd of May in a massive operation. A number of people were arrested, 8 in total. 1 has since been released on bail and many others are still being questioned.
Ratings agency Moody's is the latest to strip the United States of its AAA credit rating. The agency is warning investors about rising levels of government debt and widening budget deficit. A budget bill by President Donald Trump's Republican Party is expected to increase debt significantly over the past decade. Other agencies have already downgraded their rating of the US economy. Ex-Brisbane coach Kevin Walters has confirmed he's talked to the NRL about coaching the Perth Bears. The 57-year-old spent 4 years in charge of the Broncos before he was sacked at the end of last season. The Bears will enter the competition in 2027 with several names, with Mal Meninga and Brad Arthur believed to be among the shortlist. Walters has told Fox League he'd love another opportunity to coach.
Because of my passion for the game, a footprint in WA, particularly in Perth, and to be part of that, I think that's what excites me. Just to go there and set a club up and make it a real impact in the AFL world. I think it's a great opportunity. I like the decision by the NRL to bring Perth in. I'd love to be part of the team over there.
And in Super Rugby Pacific, the Western Force have had a tough away trip with a heavy loss to the Fijian Drua in Lautoka. The home side conceded first but responded with 5 tries on their way to a 38 points to 7 victory. You're up to date with the latest on ABC News.
The footy might stop with the final siren, but with ABC AFL, the conversation keeps rolling. Get ABC AFL Daily Podcast with Premiership coach Paul Roos alongside Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron and Poppy Penny.
From walking on thin ice to dancing on the mountaintop.
It's your daily footy conversation. Find it on the ABC Listen app. This is the Sir Doug Nicholls round.
On your radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app.
O'Donnell wins out, hand passes it down to Fraser. He's tackled, can get the hand pass back to O'Donnell. Puts a long kick inside 50. Vandermeer at the back, rises, can't take the mark, falls to the back. Pryor's going to be under all sorts of trouble. West tackles, wins the footy back, goals. It's 2 for Riley West, and this time he did both the tackling and the goaling. Riley West gets the first of the second term. McNeil has a go at it, hand passes it across to Bonton Pally, just darts a kick in towards Kennedy. To Richards,
Showtime.
Who marks just one hand. He just gathered it with his right hand and on the fingertips as well. That was excellent from Ed Richards. Ed Richards will kick from almost directly in front. Signed on to 20-30 this week. Puts the kick towards the goal and slots this one through for the Doggies. That is 9 in a row.
Langford gets the hand pass to Kako. Hand pass to Durham. Can he do it all himself? Feeds the hand pass away. In the right forward pocket, Sardal Hooley with a firing shot towards the teeth of goal. Caddy's in the back, or was it juggled by Dersma on the behind line? So Dersma is right up against the left behind post. 3 metres out from goal, so he just has to work the angle here. Dersma opens up the angle, curls it through, and they have their first. At the 16-minute mark of the second quarter, Dersma kicks the Bombers on the board.
The 2025 Sir Doug Nicholls round.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
Saturday night footy, it's the Western Bulldogs who lead by 59 points over the Bombers, 10-8-68. Essendon 1-3-9. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Andrew Mays is down on the boundary. Brett DeLidio and Daniel Harford are your experts on ABC Sport. 2 goals to Riley West, 2 goals to Ed Richards. Bailey Dale with 25 disposals to half-time and Tom Liberatoy with 24. It's been a dominant display by the Western Bulldogs, who have had 32 inside 50s to 17 alongside their 18 to 14 clearances. In the other results so far for today, the Pies once more got another victory over the Adelaide Crows, prevailing in the end in front of 67,679 fans. Collingwood booted the last 3 goals of the match to win by 10 points, 11-12-78, with Will Hoskin-Elliott booting 2 goals. They had 10 individual goal kickers to the Crows, 10-8-68. Darcy Fogarty with 4 goals for the Crows. So Collingwood are 8-2. They take on North Melbourne on Saturday at Docklands, and the Adelaide Crows are 6-4 as they take on the West Coast Eagles Eagles on Sunday. The Pies look like half and lids. They are building nicely this season.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure, like last week, resting a few players. So I thought, no, we'll go over and have a free hit over there against Freo, and they just continue to get the job done. Then, you know, if Adelaide were going to be what I thought they were going to be this year, I thought this was the real chance to stamp that today. They weren't able to get the job done. Just again, Collingwood, they're continuing to just to march on, aren't they? They're proving that age is no barrier.
Well, they just look like a team, and I just... as soon as you said Collingwood, I went straight to this game and watching Essendon. And Collingwood are so connected as a team. And everything is done so precisely and for each other all day, every day. Essendon couldn't be further from that at the moment. Having said that, the Bulldogs are in a similar vein.
Yeah, they are. They look exactly the same.
They're in a very similar vein at the moment. The Pies are going beautifully. If I was a Pies supporter, I'd be planning for a very, very busy September. But the Bulldogs remind me the way Collingwood were playing together, and it's all about system and process and all that sort of stuff, but you've still got to do it together. Everyone's got to know what everyone else is doing to make this all work, and the Bulldogs are doing it tonight, and we shouldn't undersell their excellence tonight, by the way, with the frustration we have with the Bombers. We shouldn't undersell the Bulldogs' excellence, but they are going beautifully, the Bulldogs.
They certainly are. Yatapolti, Port Adelaide, went down to Geelong. The Cats 17-13, 115 to Port Adelaide 5-9-39.
That's a problem, isn't it?
Well, there was injuries left, right and centre.
A lot of hammies.
For Port Adelaide, Jason Horne-Francis with a hamstring, Lockie Jones with a hamstring, Jack Bowes for Geelong, and Patrick Dangerfield will be the one that Cats fans will sweat on a little bit. We've spoken about how good it has been to see him in the forward 50, but a hamstring injury for him.
39 points for Port Adelaide. They scored 39 points.
39 points, that's it. Jeremy Cameron booted 7 goals in the Cats win.
He scored more than Port Adelaide did.
Correct.
Big Jerry.
Correct. So he had a day out. And the Dockers, Wallulop prevailed over GWS. This is probably the surprise of the day. Fremantle 13-17-95 to GWS 8-13-61. So Giants had a great win last week against Geelong down at the Cattery, their 5th consecutive victory there.
Concerns.
But it was the Dockers at the Sydney Showgrounds with Shea Bolton and Michael Frederick both
giving up scoring
goals.
shots. They just scored 31 last week, and then they're giving up another 30 odd this week today. So they're just leaking shots on goal, and you can't defend that.
But on the flip side of that, Fremantle, we've been waiting for a performance on the road to suggest that they are half the team that everyone thinks they were or are, and we get that today at Giant Stadium.
And the football world obviously is in mourning over the last 48 hours with the passing of Robert Walls, the football legend, the premiership coach, premiership player, and media identity. But today, the tragic news that former West Coast Eagles premiership player Adam Selwood passed away in the early hours of this morning, age 41. So his twin Troy only 3 months ago, but playing 187 games for the West Coast Eagles and was part of the team's premiership side in 2006. So our thoughts and wishes with the Selwood family. To anyone listening that is affected, Beyond Blue and Lifeline and the services that are provided there. But a tragic day for the Selwood family.
Oh, just horrendous, just unimaginable tragedy.
Yep. Unimaginable. That's exactly right.
So very sad.
The players have made their way back out onto Docklands. The Bulldogs look relatively relaxed with the way things are travelling at the moment. 10 goals to 1. And the Bombers are gathering in a tight huddle as Zach Merritt looks to address his charges once more. In the NRL so far tonight, the Storm are trailing the Cronulla Sharks, 31 points to 22. An hour gone there. It's better work for Craig Bellamy's side. Earlier it was the Manly Seagulls who defeated North Queensland, 24 points to 6. And the Warriors defeated the Dolphins, 16 to 12. Don't forget, the ABC website has all your sporting action covered, abc.net.au/sport. And our socials team on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ABC Sport. Andrew Mays is on the boundary for us. Maysy.
Halftime sub for Essendon here. El Halley has taken a seat at the back of the interchange bench, so Dylan Shield will be coming into the game for the second half. So Brad Scott pulling that trigger at halftime.
We called this, Loz. We called this. We called an early sub. And as much as anything, a message. Now, El Halley's been a long way from the worst player for the Bombers in that first half. Not quite sure the reasoning there, but it's a message as much as anything. It's gone straight to the wing. Dylan Shield, Bailey Williams lining up at the moment. Probably changes through the course of play, but I'm not surprised to see that message and that decision made by the Essendon coaching staff.
And just on the texter who asked what the symbols were on the 50-metre arcs, it's actually a traditional representation of Aboriginal men in that context. And in the centre of the field, it's art for a meeting place. So those, I guess, horseshoe shapes are actually the meeting place right in the centre circle. So that's what they represent in Sir Doug Nicholls round. So there'll be a lot of that across this round and next round as well.
You raging river of knowledge.
Thank you. I try. It is the Western Bulldogs ahead by 59 points at half-time as play restarts in the middle. Richards with the hand pass right to Bontempelli, and this will be an early inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Ball spills to ground. West has a little go at it, gets it to Vandermeer. Hand passes it out to Williams, who's taken by Shield, the sub, and tackled. Can get the ball to Reid, who takes it for the Bombers. It's stolen from him to Davidson. Back to the Dogs inside 50. West is on his hands and knees trying to dig it out. Laverty's there as well. Might have been held on to. Umpire says play on. Mackay can just get a kick out, but Kennedy will get onto the footy for the Dogs. Hand pass to Richards. Hand pass to Bontempelli. Hand pass back to Kennedy. Just eases this towards goals, and it's offline. But it is an early shot at goals for the Western Bulldogs, and that lead will be out to a game high 60 points early into this third term.
So the Bombers look to bring the ball back into play as Zach Reid hasn't. He was their shining light in their win over Sydney last week. Out towards Goldstein. The 36-year-old rises against Johannesson. Comes down to the front. Fraser. Hand pass inboard to Bontempelli. Back to Fraser. One way then the other. The little Bond and the big Bond combining into the pocket. It's too wide for English, and the intercepting mark is taken by Pryor in the back pocket. The Bulldogs leading by 60 points. Pryor decides to head back down the wing in the direction of Langford in front. Can't quite complete the mark with Cleary. Goldstein got it forward. Hand pass to Peter Wright. Hand pass over the top looking for Durham. He tries to charge away through, but is brought down by Johannesson, who tries to desperately reel the footy back in on the AFL logo on the outer side. Liberatore's hand pass to West, who gets the hand pass away. And now a chance for O'Donnell, who kicks too wide in the end for Davidson. It's touched and goes out for a boundary throw in. Andrew Mays on the boundary.
We did mention how big the crowd was pre-match. Fair to say it has thinned out at half-time. Bear in mind, Essendon only kicked 2 goals in the second half last week, so they've kicked 3 goals in their last 4 quarters of footy.
Yep.
Surely they haven't gone home just yet. Maybe they're just late getting back to their seats, hopefully.
I don't know, Loz.
No, they're gone.
They're gone. Maisie saw them walking out of the turnstiles and off to the train station at half-time. As it's Wright that's trying to do something for the Bombers here. He kicks them to the top of the 50. The mark will be taken by Caddy. Dinks the kick to Martin. Slams it through the goals. And those Essendon fans that have stuck around for this second half were rewarded with a transition goal from the Bombers. And it was Martin running through with it. And it's an early celebration for Essendon, but that margin is still out at 54 points. Essendon just 2 goals, 3-15. The Western Bulldogs 10-9, 69. 2.5 minutes played in this third term on ABC Sport.
Well, I don't mind it. I think Peter Wright getting up the ground more, if he can drag Lob up, because he's been almost the anchor and the brick wall down there. They haven't been able to get past him. Anything that's come in aerially, he's been marking. So Peter Wright can get on his bike, get up, hit the wings, and be that true centre half forward. You know, then swing around, got it to Caddy, then terrific run from Nick Martin. I love watching him. His work rate continues. You know, he'll always just work up and down the ground and give himself a look. That's why he averages nearly over 25.
6th goal for the season for Nick Martin. Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Back in the middle, Goldstein and English. Goldstein one down the tap, but Bontempelli roved it superbly. Kicks end over end up towards half forward. Vandermeer tried to leave it for Richards. Hand pass away to McNeil. Gives it to Libber. Kicks into the pocket. West trying to get rid of Laverty. Davidson, top of the goal square. Can't get boots a ball. Great tackle from Reid. And McGrath was held as he tried to get a hand pass away. Takes his own advantage and kicks out to Kako at half back.
And Kako gathers it on the second attempt, can swivel around and chip it across to Goldstein. Quickly moves it by hands across to Setterfield. Shoves it on his boot, and it's Essendon at left half forward via Durham. Hand pass to Langford, who'll just chip it across to Caddy. Waits for it, and in comes O'Donnell over the top. Steals it from his hands and will chip it out to right half back to Bontempelli. Long hand pass across to Johannesson, and the Dogs will move it right down the city wing. Johannesson kicks it and it chips it across to Vandermeer, who'll mark just forward of centre wing for the Western Bulldogs, leading by 54 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Didn't work, but they've threatened twice now, the Bombers. This is much better. They've got connection across the field.
Vandermeer runs the boundary line, kicks looking for Norton, can't hang on to the mark. Davidson tackled by Laverty, gets a kick towards the goal mouth. Redmond under desperate pressure. Zach Reid can't get it. West's hand pass. Davidson finishes in the end from the top of the goal square. The weight of numbers won out in the end, and the Bulldogs forced a way forward. And Sam Davidson in the end was able to finish the job from millimetres out from goal. The Bulldogs lead by 60 points, 11-9-75 to the Bombers 2-3-15. A goal apiece so far in this third term.
Yeah, that kick from Langford to Caddy just had too much height on it, didn't it? Need to be just a short little punch one into him because he had O'Donnell covered. But they did reasonably well to hold up Vandermeer. They look like they're into a fast play. You know, Johannesson finds Vandermeer, but then their ability, if Norton had his hands on tonight, he would have had 6 or 7 shots on goal, but he's dropped a number of them. But Davidson, his work rate to get to the drop of the ball and then be then again in the goal square. Well done, Riley West, in terms of the pressure that he's been able to put on. Love what he brings to this side.
It's number 1 forward 50 ground ball player in the competition, Riley West. He must bench press about 800 kilos too. Geez, he's strong in the square one-on-one.
And it's back in the middle. It'll be all wrapped up with centre field taken by Kennedy for another ball up almost in the centre of the field. English and Goldstein go at it. Tap out comes to Richards, who'll stream forward to put the kick right into the hands of Norton. He doesn't make any mistake with this one.
That's where he needs them, was. Didn't need the hands, straight to the chest, that one. That was a beautiful delivery by Richards. Having a few left footers in your midfield helps too, just by the way, when they can roll out to the open side.
3 of them all in there together.
Yeah, that's right,
Richards, Bontempelli and Liberatore can't undermine the work of Tim English in there and his tap work. Silver service.
So Aaron Norton almost directly in front to get the response from the Bombers' opening goal of the term. Just sways this across to the left. And it's a minor score for the Western Bulldogs. The lead extends, though, out to 61 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
As the Bombers through Zach Reid, comes back into play. Looks out to left half back. The kick is wide for Dersma. He just takes the mark inside the field of play with Taylor DeRay in tow.
Turned himself there a little bit.
Did.
Right into the fence.
So no DeRay on the mark. Dersma kicks long in the direction of Caddy. Can't pull in the one-handed mark against O'Donnell. And it goes across the boundary line to Peter Wright, who's standing on the bench, and he throws it back to the boundary umpire. The Bulldogs by 61 points, 11-10-76 to the Bombers 2-3-15. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Andrew Mays down on the boundary. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio, your experts on ABC Sport. English takes it out of the ruck. Hand pass to Liberatore, boundary side. Hacks the kick forward along the ground. DeRay was clean when he needed to be. Hand pass to the dashing Bailey Dale. Gives it to English and back to Dale. He'll retreat back with a hand pass to O'Donnell. One way, then the other. In the end, looks back to English, who marks on the wing. He hadn't moved.
Didn't we start there about a minute and a half ago?
Yep.
We've got back to the same position as English. Darts the kick right down the wing to Ed Richards, who turns around and will put this on his boot, get it to a hot spot inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Front position was Mackay. Is there a free kick going the way of the Dogs, or the mark will be paid to Mackay? Well, Mackay got the free kick in the end for a little shove, and he chips it towards Reid. Goes over the top of Hobbs, and this will be a turnover straight away as DeRay marks an easy one. Chips it across to Dale, who's had plenty of the footy tonight. It is play on. Caddy tries to tackle him, can't get him, and Dale, though, will turn over the footy by Dersma, who takes a mark and might have copped a knee to the shin as well and comes up sore, but hand passes to Redmond.
Around the back to Redmond, who chips out wide to Hobbs, lodging forward. Takes the mark just inside the boundary line. The Bulldogs by 61 points, a goal apiece through this third quarter. The Bulldogs put it 7 goals to 3 behinds in the opening term to have a comfortable 42-point lead at the first break. They made that 59 at half-time as Mackay back inside the defensive 50. Missed the kick to Zach Reid. This is where the Bulldogs are licking their lips. West to Davidson, inside 50. Finds Aaron Norton.
Kennedy's going to get it.
He's going to chip it over the top to Matthew Kennedy into the open goal and up to the third tier. The Doggies are running circles around the Bombers at the moment and punishing them on every turnover. A 67-point lead, the biggest of the match so far. 12-10-82 to the Bombers, 2-3-15. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport.
You know what annoys me there, Harp, is that they've tried to force that into the middle of the ground with a guy who's not their kicker, let's be honest. But you've got a bunch of numbers down here at centre half forward or on a half forward flank. Just kick it there, get a contest, start again. Know that that's consistent, that's what you're going to do. But, geez, I just don't know. The slow play is just playing into the Bulldogs' hands because they only have to shift a little bit and then they're fresh on offence. And that's why they're spreading them so hard and they're going.
Brett Scott's going bananas in the box.
Even the coolest customer is starting to get a little frustrated with what he's seeing.
Well, this is going to blow out to 100 points the way things are going. Then that's a disaster.
Yep.
So Kennedy, the 9th individual goal scorer, And it's out to 67 points.
This is truckload of manure sort of stuff on.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that before.
Windy.
And they might go again here, whereas Bontempelli grabs the footy, hand passes it across to Williams, hand passes it to Dale, who chips it back to Davidson, who's right at centre wing, city side of the ground, and he'll go to Buku Kamas, who's found some space.
Exactly right, Loz. He found some space at the top of the arc all by himself. How the hell does that happen?
And Mackay tried to make up the ground, just couldn't do it.
He was in the ruck against Goldie, and Goldie was filling the spot in the middle, inside 50.
Good play on.
So Kamas chips it to Dale, who's had a lot of the footy around this 55 metres out from goal. He shanks the kick. It works for Bontempelli, though, who'll turn around and score.
Of course he does.
That is a Bontempelli goal, if ever you've seen one. Was falling to the turf, off balance, and still managed to get it through the big sticks. That is 2 for the captain. And the Western Bulldogs out by 73 points. There's still a long way in this game to go. 10 minutes played in this third term. It's the Dogs 13-10-88, Essendon 2-3-15. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it just annoys me watching the game. I'm so annoyed at the moment. I don't barrack for either of these teams, clearly, and I want Essendon to be better than they are, and clearly they're not showing the capacity to do that at the moment. But Davidson's got the ball centre wing, right? The game is held up. It's stopped. And somehow Buku Kamas can sit on the edge of the arc, or the just on the arc, all by himself, have 20 metres of space all around him, circumference of 20 metres all around him. Davidson can drop it in that bucket 45 metres away and no one gets there.
Yep.
Like, how the hell does... Like, it's just so infuriating watching this team at the moment. I hate the Bombers.
73 points is the Bulldogs' lead. It's got triple figures. It might be there before three-quarter time at this rate. Setterfield gets the clearance for the Bombers up towards half-forward. In the end, it was easy for Johannesson, who got rid of his opponent in Day Weeks to take the mark. He's inside the defensive 50, chips it back to O'Donnell, who decides to switch it out to Harms, who has it left half back, had to wait for a little while. Nick Martin tried to slide in and make the spoil. A hand pass away to Bramble, the sub for the Bulldogs, after Artie Jones was subbed out with a hamstring injury, and Dylan Shield was subbed in at half-time. The Dogs switch it across half-back. Johannesson takes the mark, looks up, tries to find an avenue forward, and Cleary at centre half-back for the Bulldogs.
Half and Lids, if you had to choose a best on ground so far for Essendon, who are you going with that has played half decently tonight?
Roberts for me. He's the only shining light for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He's had a really good year. I really like watching him play. He's got such a great dynamic ball movement pattern and running. It's really good.
What for a young player to take on, though, as Dale puts the Western Bulldogs inside 50 again. A perfect pass to Riley West.
You know what this
Dale's
looks like?
got the 3 and the 2.
He's going to be tough to beat. So this looks like, you know those Instagram memes you see where someone's got a torch.
Yes.
And they're flashing it on the ground and on the walls, and the cat's trying to catch it.
Yeah.
Essendon are the cat, the Bulldogs are the torch.
Yes.
They're just putting it all over the wall, all over the floor, trying to get Essendon to get somewhere near them, knowing that's never going to happen.
I'm slightly following where you're going there. As Riley West runs over the paint of 50, puts it towards goals. He misses, though.
We'll send it to you, boss.
They're leading them to a merry dance all across the field. And Essendon, there's nothing proactive about the way they're trying to defend the Bulldogs ball movement. It's just caravanning all over the ground. And if you do that, the team that are possessing the football, in this case the Bulldogs, can run you anywhere they want and make you look as stupid as they can.
Redmond with a clearing kick up towards half-back. Bontempelli with a shove in the back. Gave away the free kick, and Sam Durham wants to take it, but he's in front of his mark, so the ball will have to come back.
Perfect for the Doggies.
Yep.
You look at them. So the Dogs are, what are they? 75 points up, whatever it is?
74, yep.
And that free kick's paid, and it's got to come back. And everyone's pointing. Everyone's instructing everyone else what they should be doing.
They're not being challenged, are they?
Essendon have done nothing like that all night long.
Dogs are blocked up the corridor, so sends it long towards Peter Wright in a 2-on-1. Cleary over the top supports. Kamas gets his right fist to it. See it out of play as Nate Caddy tries to race after it. 70.4-point lead the Bulldogs way. 13-11-89. The Bombers 2-3-15.
Maisie, what's the vibe like on the bench? Is there a body language situation going on?
No, it's pretty quiet, actually. It's actually very reflective of what you just mentioned. There's not a lot of communication between the bench and those on the field. A few of the coaches are a little bit animated down here, but a lot of moving of magnets with not much effect at the moment.
Is Dills and Mr. Goyder still there?
No, they left before half-time.
They've gone to the bar as well.
They're on the train at half-time.
So ball is brought back in. Hobbs has to go in at Carmus as well, and it'll be locked up. It'll be holding the footy against Carmus. Setterfield doing the tackling.
I had a suggestion for half-time snacks.
Pass to Hobbs, starts the kick to the right forward pocket.
Rocky Road?
Nah, steamed ding rats, actually. I wanted some dingies rather than the sausage roll and some...
In fact, I thought you would have brought us some slice. You've spent all day baking. You brought us nothing.
Well, the
What sort of man are you?
The kids are trying to make it for the bake sale, so I just got to...
When is the bake sale? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah, get down in the Malvern area, Glen Irish area.
There's always an extra batch made for the commentary
For
box.
me.
You know that. For me.
When I get home tonight.
Thrown back in. English wins down the tap. A desperate tackle is laid by Isaac Kako on Taylor DeRaith. We've got to rattle around the cans and chuck in a pineapple for the kids.
Yep. I'll pay for it. Just take it home.
You go the raspberries or the clinkers in the Rocky Road?
No, the girls went with the raspberries.
Yeah, that's the right choice.
Get into that sort of stage of the match as Harms comes into the middle of the ground. A hand pass to Johannesson, dodging and weaving in the hips. He gets away from Langford, kicks inside 50. Riley West sliding on his knees, takes the mark. Left of centre, 40 metres out from goal. They are such a threat to Bulldogs when they can run and explode like that.
So many weapons, haven't they? Bailey Dale, Johannesson coming off half-back. DeRay being brought into the side today. Bramble, they got the luxury of just playing him as a sub. Then you got that many little half-forwards who are really good overhead. And the ability to mark it as well. West, Vandermeer goes on.
He's a somewhat unlikely full forward, Riley West, but has 2 so far tonight for his 3rd. He comes in with a finger outstretched in celebration as he sends it through for another Doggies goal, and the fans behind the goals jump up once more. With the flags and the pom-poms, they're getting plenty of work done tonight. 80 points, the Bulldogs lead. 14-11-95 to the Bombers, 2-3-15. So 3 for Riley West as he now moves to 17 goals for the season with Aaron Norton on 16. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio.
I'm more probably known for my hedgehog, to be honest. If I'm being honest, but
no, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, no, I think I love that halfbacks that want to take the game on. Like Bailey Dale and Johannesson, they're 2 guys that absolutely dash. I know Johannesson's had his issues with his injuries and whatever else, but Bailey Dale's been nearly the premier halfback, hasn't he, over the last couple of years?
Yep.
They give it to him at all costs. And why wouldn't you when he's got a leg like he has?
I'll tell you what, I hope the All-Australian selectors have a look at this kid West.
I was about to ask you that, yeah.
I hope they're having a real good look at him for a spot in that team because he is fantastic. Geez, what a player he's involved into.
Throw in the middle, it's English, who hand passes to Fraser, puts it out wide. Vandermeer, front position, has a couple of hands, and Roberts just infringed on him, and it'll be a free kick to Vandermeer. On the outer side of the ground, centre wing with his side leading by 80 points. In this 3rd quarter, moves it backwards towards Cleary, chips it to Dale, not 15, he'll hand pass it to Cleary anyway. He'll just go running through the centre of the ground to Sanders, marks, it was touched off hand, so not paid. Fraser takes it, he just twirls around and hand passes behind him towards Dale. Hand passes to O'Donnell, they're back at centre half back, the Western Bulldogs, until O'Donnell moves it across to Lobb, who marks at centre wing, broadcast side. Hand pass to Dale, puts the kick flat towards Buku Karmas. It was too low for him to grab. Mackay comes in for the Bombers, but Fraser's in there as well for the Western Bulldogs. Martin has a go at it, he can hand pass it away. Karmas takes it, and Redmond wraps him up right at the top of the 50 for the Western Bulldogs. There'll be a ball up with the Western Bulldogs ahead by 18 minutes played in the 3rd term.
English and right. English wins down the tap. Nick Martin can't break away as Matt Kennedy lays the tackle. So at what stage does Brad Scott look to try a few things? The game's gone, so
half-time.
Yeah.
Well, I think he did that with the sub.
Yeah. Dylan Shield was subbed in at half-time for Sardell Hooley. Tom Liberatore gathers from the stoppage. Hand pass to Harms. Screws it back towards the teeth of goal. Zach Reed. Great juggling mark.
So Zach Merritt's playing deep forward at the moment. Kako's playing deep forward. Like, there's no point. What's Isaac Kako learning at the moment? He's not learning anything.
Reed straight down the middle to Caldwell, who takes the mark against Kennedy.
Add a string to his bow, get him up amongst it, see what he's got.
Looks up, has Hobbs free at centre half back. Can he work it out to Dersma? Takes the mark on the wing, darting away. Hand pass away to Roberts. He does take the game on. Kicks into the pocket. Day Wicks the target. Can't take the mark against Lobb. It spills out. Good follow-up tackle from Day Wicks. Sees Cleary out of play and a throw in the left forward pocket. It's just the Bombers' 4th inside 50 in this third term. The Bulldogs have had 12. Andrew Mays on the boundary.
You mentioned Dylan Shield coming on at half-time. He's actually spent quite a lot of this third term on the bench. Heavy rotation and actually hasn't touched the footy yet.
It's going well.
Sub last week and sub again this week and spending plenty of it on the bench. There you go as the ball is brought back in, and it's Dale, of course, that clears it out of defensive 50. He puts a long kick forward. Davidson running onto it, but Mackay gets there first. He's taking the tackle. And he's pinned for it as well, Riley West. Doing everything tonight.
The man who benches 800.
It's a good bench.
It's a good bench.
I only did that once.
So Riley West twirls the footy around and then puts a long kick to the top of the 50. Buku Kamas Rose couldn't take the mark in the end. It comes out the back, Pryor chasing after it. And it's Kennedy that keeps it in play. Well done by Kennedy. He can hand pass it away and the ball will be moved forward towards English. Play on. Goldstein chasing after it. He's tackled over the boundary line by Davidson and Harms.
That should have been out of the bounds at 50-metre arc.
Yep.
That's got to be taken over by the Bombers. Oh, goodness me.
Kennedy the one keeping that one in play, and now the Western Bulldogs have moved the ball closer to their goals for a throw-in, and they're leading by 80 points.
Thrown back in. Goldstein takes front position. English just tries to shove him out of it illegally, says the umpire. So a free kick going the way of the Bombers in the left back pocket. Todd Goldstein at 36 years of age feeds the hand pass around the back. No problem to deal with Jackson Pryor as he goes short to Perkins, not 15.
Oh dear.
Has to screw it back around his shoulder, and that's where Bailey Dale is waiting for that high ball.
Oh,
he dropped the mark though in the end. It may have worked, although the tackle from Nate Caddy was over the shoulder of McNeil. Free kick going the way of the Western Bulldogs at right half forward.
McNeil holding on to it, puts it right into the pocket. He's looking for Karmas. It just goes over the top of his head. English there to collect. Hand pass to Sanders. Hand pass back to Williams. He'll try and curl his ball towards goal. It's a long kick. It'll hold at the top of the goal square where Nick Martin can sit back at the drop and take the intercept mark for the Bombers. He chips out wide. It'll work well for the Bombers here as Daywicks takes it. Takes a bounce and handballs to Merritt. Handballs across to Hobbs and he'll hand pass to Kako, who's got no one ahead of him. He turns around the 360. Hand passes back to Merritt, right at centre wing. It's tough for the Bombers now to get it inside 50 until Merritt goes there and kicks it towards Caddy. He wins a 2-on-1. He's sat on by lob afterwards. But Caddy has held on to the mark at the top of the 50.
Great hands. Best bit of play they've nearly had, wasn't it? I mean, the ability to get that one from deep inside forward 50, and then the mark by Dave Wicks coming out here on the wing. Zach Merritt to then pop it in. Great set of hands from Nate Caddy. This is going to take some kicking late into the third quarter, but
from the home of greatness, of course, Parade College.
Here's him and Isaac Kako.
Yes.
Is that the home of greatness, is it?
My word it is.
Is that what it's known as?
My word it is.
I've never heard that.
You don't listen.
So Nate Caddy lets loose 53 metres out, completely sprays this one wide. It won't even score in the end, and from the home of greatness to an out of bounds on the full.
Well, that's a setback. Yeah. For the home of greatness.
Have you got yourself on the honour board there? A nice little picture of Daniel Harford?
I don't like to talk about it. There's named the coaching box after me. I don't want to talk about it.
Dale brings the Bulldogs back in to Bramble. Kicks up towards Norton. Awkward to his wrist as he's just getting back to his feet. DeRay gets involved. Hand pass back to Bramble. Left half back. On the bounce for O'Donnell. Opens the door for Wright. He can't take it. And O'Donnell defends well. Hand pass to Dale. He asks for him to be involved on a fourth occasion. Daywicks pinches it. Hand pass to Kako. Into the pocket and finds Peter Wright.
They made a mess of that.
Yeah, they did.
It's the first thing they've done wrong all night.
Yeah, Bramble just missed that little kick back, wasn't it? That just put O'Donnell under the pump. And then they just couldn't quite get clean hands out of that congestion. But well done for the Bombers for hanging in there and hanging about. Enough little handball to little Kako over to Peter Wright, running back into some space. He's caught on the hop.
He's been goalless in his last two matches, so looking for his first tonight as well. In the right forward pocket, he leans back on it and misses to the right-hand side. Minor score. So they've had a couple of inside 50s in the last few minutes. Inside 50s so far in this quarter, 14-6 the way of the Bulldogs. Margin is 79 points the Dogs' way.
Fans behind the goals did all they could there. They got the target, the target they hold up. They got that. They moved that like from seat to seat across. That was in the middle of the goals. They did all they could, the fans.
That's some good going. That's dedication.
It was commitment.
They're still here. They didn't leave at half time. I don't think you're allowed to when you're in the cheer squad.
Where's the target now?
So Dersma left half forward, hand pass to Redmond. He'll go long. He'll kick it right towards right at the hot spot. Lob at front position, 2 hands. Kako tries to barge his way through. O'Donnell takes it, hand pass to Duray. That hand pass goes straight to Shield, hand pass to Mutton, hand pass to Perkins. He'll kick towards goals and he slots it. Essendon's 3rd goal of the game coming in the 3rd quarter. There are a lot of disposals to get there, but it is the Bombers with their 3rd, 3-4-22. The Western Bulldogs 14-11-95. The Dogs ahead by 73 points, 25 minutes into this 3rd term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it was a good goal by Essendon. Well done, though. They had their hands on it, the Dogs. They just couldn't quite find the target by hands. Well done, Dylan Shield coming back in. I know Maisie just spoke about him spending a lot of time on the bench. Had a little bit of an impact there. Perkins finishing it off. But I just want to draw your attention to the bloke who's just come to the bench, Bailey Dale. He's had 39 disposals already. 39.
So 50 territory, aren't we?
We are absolutely.
With a quarter to go.
22 handball received, 768 metres gained. Somebody run next to him.
When was the last 50?
I'm thinking Tom Mitchell, but happy to be corrected with that.
I reckon you might be right.
Yeah, probably.
Bulldogs by 73 points.
Too many half-backs, though.
What's more likely, the 100-point margin or the 50 for Bailey Dale? The Bombers get the clearance. Merritt fed it back to Roberts, who keeps running from half-back, drives it inside 50. Langford sets himself through the hands of Duray in front, running onto it as Durham. Free kick advantage paid. Back-to-back goals for the Bombers.
Get back in this.
As we're flirting with what the margin might be. The Essendon midfield go to work, and an advantage there for Sam Durham, who runs into the open goal. 14-11-95 the Dogs. So the Bombers 4-4-28. First time, obviously, they've kicked back-to-back goals in the match, and the margin is 67 points. Andrew Mays on the boundary.
The last one was actually Lockie Neal had 50, again 51 he had against Richmond in 2019.
Well done by you, Maisie. You get the...
Trying to show Loz up. She had the big
3 votes.
4, and then you have to come in, Maze.
We're fighting for a piece of that slice. That's the prize that's on offer.
Where is this slice?
Yeah, in the fridge at home at the moment. It's got my name all over it at about 11:30. Don't tell the kids.
How many pieces?
Not to be disclosed.
There's 3 in you at least, I reckon.
Jim tomorrow will be right.
So the Bombers have worked the margin back to 67 points, but it's an inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs, coming off the book of
called it.
Aklimako straight to Buku, who absolutely flies up over his teammates and his opposition. Came from the back and just rose.
That's a
visionary
good hang.
half. You're a visionary.
That's a good hang.
Wasn't it nice? And clean take. Love that. No bobble.
You saw it coming half from a mile away.
We had a great run up. We had an open little lane to run in, and he had a pair just sitting there waiting to get sat on.
They were a specky bag, weren't they? They were just sitting there waiting. The big back from, it was Mackay, was it?
So here comes Buku Khamis to finish off the work of his flying mark. He just eases that one towards the goal, and it's off to the right-hand side and never comes back. So 68 points, Western Bulldogs' advantage extends to 14-12, playing 4-4, 28 minutes played in the 3rd term on ABC Sport.
Lauren Borden and Matt Lynch calling the action. Andrew Mays down on the boundary. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio, your experts. McGrath not happy with his kick in there for the Bombers. It's almost chopped off by Riley Weston in the end. They do well to force a stoppage. Left half forward for the Bulldogs. 65 metres out from their goal. A 68-point margin. So who's doing the ruck work here? It's going to be Tim English and Goldstein, as Goldstein got there late. Gets down the tap to Shield. Hand pass back to Pryor. Back to Shield at half-back. And a hand pass over his shoulder. Tim English cuts it off for the Bulldogs. Hand pass to Fraser. Kicks to the lead of Bailey Williams, who comes leading out. Everyone wants to get involved on the scoreboard. And he marks in the left forward pocket, 35 metres out from goal.
Yeah, I reckon Shealy might want his time again there with that handball. Just a dump handball to no one, really. Yeah, cough up, unfortunately, but geez, it was a nice kick in by Fraser. I thought he was going for Khamis, but then I didn't see him going. See Williams there at the end. Nice little kick.
2 goals of the season for Bailey Williams to join the growing list of goal kickers. He comes in from the left forward pocket and sends it straight through the middle. After all of a sudden, the Bombers have put on a couple of goals in quick succession. The Bulldogs have made it a 5-3 3rd term, and the margin is 74 points. 15-12, 102 to the Bombers, 4-4-28. Almost half an hour gone in the 3rd term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, you're right. It was a indiscriminate handball just to clear the area rather and take the pressure away from himself. I think in the end from Dylan Shield there, rather than trying to create something for his teammates. The Bulldogs are just so well set up. They're just so well balanced around contest. They don't overcommit numbers. They keep good space, and they know they're always going to have outlets when they do win those possessions back. And that's what he did. Fed the ball back to Fraser, and he just got rolling. He's a bit stiff. He wasn't left foot. Everyone else is out there at the moment, seemingly for the Bulldogs mids, but had to cut back on his right. And it was a laser-like pass to Williams.
Margin back out to 74 points. Both subs have been used, Lockie Bramble and Dylan Shield on the field for each of their respective sides as Ed Richards tries to bounce it back to him, goes for a third time, in the end just taps it away, and Martin takes it towards Goldstein. He taps it, stolen though by Kennedy, who swivels around, 50-metre kick right inside 50 for the Dogs. Pryor grabs it, he's tackled by Karmas, dispossessed the footy. Karmas gets it back, hand pass to Richards, hand pass across to Bontempelli. Setterfield running into him to lock him up. And it'll be a ball up, 45 metres out from goal for the Western Bulldogs. So 10 goal kickers tonight for the Dogs, with a commanding lead over Essendon. They're pretty much led from the word go as Bontempelli takes it out. Hand pass rolls along the ground to Fraser. Flicks it back to Cleary, who flares the kick out towards Williams. Most recent goal kicker for the Dogs just takes it, spots English inside the forward pocket, chips it to him, and English marks. Took it one-on-one with Goldstein, and now English will have a set shot very close to the boundary line, about 35 metres out from goal.
Just got answers everywhere, half, haven't they? Everywhere you look, even when they stuff up a little handball, there's a little bobble, they've got a player there who's ready to clean it up. Even then, Cleary, handball back, but then had Williams just sitting out there all by himself. Was it Williams?
Yep.
Yep. Take a good kick here though, Loz.
It is his kick 4 for the season. And he comes in now and will have this shot after the three-quarter time siren. Lets go of the kick and slams it into the right goalpost. So almost had it, but just a minor score for the Western Bulldogs to end the third quarter as their margin extends to 75 points at the final change. It was 59 points at halftime and 42 points at quarter time. So it's just been a dominant game from the Western Bulldogs. As the goal kickers tonight for Essendon, there's 4 of them. Perkins, Durham, Dersma and Martin each have 1, and then 10 for the Western Bulldogs. Bontempelli with 2, Riley West with 3, and singles to Matthew Kennedy, Ed Richards, Tom Liberatore, Latham Vandermeer, Buku Karmas, Lockie McNeil, Aaron Norton and Bailey Williams, and Sam Davidson as well.
So a dominant display by the Western Bulldogs, leading by 75 points. Earlier it was the Magpies who defeated the Adelaide Crows by 10 points. Kawara, as they're known in this Sir Doug Nicholls round. The 3 votes went to Jordan Dawson, but the Pies get another victory over the Crows in a tight finish. Geelong proved too strong for Yatapulti. Port Adelaide winning by 76 points. Jeremy Cameron booted 7 goals, and it was the Dockers, Wallyup, defeating Greater Western Sydney in the end. A dominant display, 13-17-95 to the Giants, 8-13-61. And what's that? Melbourne victory.
It's
trailing Auckland
FC, the first leg of the semi-finals in the A-League. Auckland winning 1-0, so that's the away goal type situation. They go back to Auckland for the second leg next week. Setback for the victory fans.
Certainly is. Three-quarter time, the Western Bulldogs leading by 75 points. Great to have your company on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
God-tier comedy is on ABC iView. Good God.
God.
Unbelievable. More checklists, optics, breeders, big boys, double park, and so many more. Always free, always hilarious on ABC iView. This is the Sir Doug Nicholls round.
On your radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app.
It's Bright that's trying to do something for the Bombers here. He kicks them to the top of the 50. The mark will be taken by Paddy. Digs the kick to Martin. Slams it through the goals. And those Essendon fans that have stuck around for this second half were rewarded with a transition goal from the Bombers. And it was Martin running through with it.
Vandermeer runs the boundary line, kicks looking for Norton, can't hang on to the mark. Davidson tackled by Laverty, gets a kick towards the goal mouth. Redmond under desperate pressure. Zachary can't get it. West is half pass. Davidson finishes in the end. from the top of the goal square. The weight of numbers won out in the end.
So Karmas chips it to Daly. He shanks the kick. It works for Bontempelli though, who'll turn around and score. That is a Bontempelli goal if ever you've seen one. Was falling to the turf off balance and still managed to get it through the big sticks.
Arms comes into the middle of the ground. A hand pass to Johannesson. Dodging and weaving at the hips. He gets away from Langford. Kicks inside 50. Riley West sliding on his knees. Takes the mark. Left of centre. 40 metres out from goal. He's a somewhat unlikely full forward, Riley West, but has 2 so far tonight for his third. He comes in with a finger outstretched in celebration as he sends it through for another Doggies goal, and the fans behind the goals jump up once more.
The 2025 Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Three-quarter time at Docklands. The Bulldogs leading by 75 points, 15-13, 103 to the Bombers 4-4-28. It was 7 goals to none in the first term to lead by 42 points by 59 points at half-time. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Andrew Mays down the boundary. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts. It's just about as comprehensive as you would like if you're a Doggies fan tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think they've looked classier right across the board, haven't they? Their ability to outnumber, to outwork. You know, their midfielders have been on song. Their half-backs have been on song. Bailey Dale's brought his own footy. You know, I don't think anyone's gone anywhere near him. I know he's playing at half-back and you're supposed to be picking up a half-forward, but I'm not sure he has.
Well, it's the best role in footy at the moment, half-back. I think 5 of the top 10 ranked players in the competition are half-backs.
Yep.
So this is not a surprise. This shouldn't surprise anyone. No. Certainly the coach's box of Essendon, that Bailey Dale's having influence on the contest if he's allowed to just run free.
Yes.
So that's a problem. Like 39 at three-quarter time is quite ridiculous.
So is that a preparation thing from your point of view? Surely Brad Scott would have thought,
he's a good
player. He's one of the few players we might have to lock in on, or was there that many spot fires that the house was burning down in the first quarter regardless?
Considering averages 26.8 coming into this game, like that's third for the Bulldogs for the season. He's a fairly prominent member of the team. I would imagine there's a plan gone into place. But like, if you can't win the ball at the source, that's when players like Dale can come into it. So the problem isn't necessarily who's on Bailey Dale. The problem is Essendon being unable to win the ball at the source and stop the Bulldogs from getting it out into the spaces. That's the problem. Well, there's a whole lot of problems, but that's probably the main one. If you can't get source pressure and you allow the ball to just be fizzed around like the Bulldogs do to players running through the line and breaking the line like Bailey Dale does, like Riley West has done when he's pushed up, like Riley Sanders has done, as well as that connector. Bailey Williams has done it as well. They've got so many guys that have been playing that role for them tonight. That's if you can't stop that, then how do you stop any team, let alone a team like the Bulldogs, who are a seriously good and well organised footy team?
It hasn't been a really bruising affair, has it?
No.
Like tackles, what are they, 36 to 33 in favour of the Dogs, even though they're up by cheapers. Nearly 90 lots in disposals.
What are they up to? Total disposal? Are we on 500?
370. Yeah, they will be. If they look after each other and sort of chip it around and try and control the footy, look after their legs a little bit after coming back from Darwin, then yeah, they are. But I would imagine they'd be going for the kill.
Yeah. Well, it's in bounce. It's Richard Bontempelli, Liberatore. So they're not mucking around.
Let's go back to 2019, the last time the Western Bulldogs beat the Bombers by triple figures. It's a 75-point margin as we get the final term underway. Goldstein and English to resume their battle. English wins down the tap. Rowed by Setterfield. Kicks the Bombers first to start this final term. Peter Wright comes charging out. Bounces into Daywicks. Off hands it spills out to Martin. Gets the hand pass away to Roberts. Back to Setterfield. At right half forward now to Nick Martin. Into the pocket looking for Langford. He got hands to it, but couldn't complete the mark. And a boundary throw in the right forward pocket for the Bombers.
What would be your message at three-quarter time? Half of this is you and your Chargers. Pride, mostly pride.
Yeah, I'd say, look, I hope you got some hedgehog at home because it's going to be a rough night.
Yeah.
No, the message is it's about a spirit in this last quarter. It's about trying to eliminate the 100 points. I'd mention 100 points. I'd say that'd be embarrassing. I'd bring that up.
As it's Kennedy that exits out of defence and he goes towards Norton. Can't take the mark. Vandermeer grabs it, hand passes it away towards English, hand passes back to Dale. Another touch for him. He'll kick right to left half forward. Buku Karmas running onto it. Can hand pass to a running Vandermeer who takes it, chooses to just dab the kick slightly forward towards Harms, who marks inside the pocket.
Because you can't even say, I prefer is to go down swinging and lose by 120 or win by 2 points, because that's not happening. You're not going to get a win. So you can't even play the free will card. You're appealing to pride. You're appealing to their sense of commitment to the footy club.
Belly.
James Harms snaps it right across. Norton can move it across to Vandermeer. He kicks as he's falling, won't make the distance.
Great.
And punched away towards Ed Richards, who takes it, spills the footy out, and it's McGrath who can pick it up for the Bombers. It was a smart move, but it's McGrath who can move it across to Caddy, who's on the outer side on the wing.
You don't see that very often. A full forward on the goal line, smacking it 15 metres away from his goal. It almost worked out.
Yeah.
As Caddy gets the hand pass around the back to Nick Martin. He runs the outer wing in two minds. He wants to give the hand pass off now. Caddy's going to have to chip it back to Laverty.
I know Nick Martin getting a touch there makes Nick Martin's stats look good, but he had no one to go to, and he knew that when he got that handball received. You're just forcing yourself into a quick play when you haven't got anyone up front.
Back inside the defensive 50 to Zach Reed, kicked over the head of Sam Durham. Kennedy couldn't take it, and Durham kept his feet. He wins the footy. Hand pass to Shields, chips it over the top to Kako against Lobb. You know how that's going to end. And Peter Wright in the pocket, went for Kako.
Kick the goal.
Rory Lobb takes the easiest of marks.
Cole Langford leading back to the goal scorer all by himself.
Rory Lobb looks to pierce the kick out to Bontempelli, who trying to push off Day Wicks, and it stays in play as Kennedy just gathers up against the boundary line. Kicks end over end, wide of Harms, and Pryor for the Bombers gathers and goes short to Day Wicks.
Day Wicks just chips it across to left half forward. Peter Wright will take the mark. Hold on to the footy before loading up on the kick. He'll switch it almost to the outer side of the ground. Roberts flew, couldn't take the mark. Dale takes it, hand pass to Fraser. Moves it across to O'Donnell. He'll take a bounce and run outside of defensive 50 and just go long right down the wing. Norton tries to gather it, just loses it at the last moment. Mackay at the back can't do anything to bring it to the advantage of the Bombers. Merritt's in there as well. It's the Doggies that'll emerge with it though, as Jure kicks it back to English.
All open side here.
And English will move it across to Johannesson, who has no one around him, but he's got Harms on the wing. Instead, he'll kick right to half forward where Bontempelli will mark. Gain some of the distance, and Bontempelli looks around. He's got a short lead from Richards. Vandermeer running into the pocket. Plenty of leads coming across. One of those is Norton, who was running right up the 50. Doesn't mark, brings it to ground. Richards, underground hand pass to West. Who just
bench, 800.
off his opponent to take a shot at the goals, and that is his best of the night.
800 kilos he benches.
He flicked off Archie Roberts like he was a fly and puts his fourth goal through for tonight. What a performance he's had. What a year he's having as well. Really getting a run of it in Western Bulldogs colours. And that is a lead back out to 81 points, the highest of the match for the Western Bulldogs. 16-13, 109. Essendon 4-4, 28. Talk me through the fend-off half lids.
That was incredible.
Wow, he waited for it. This is the thing that modern players are so good at. They wait for the contact and they know exactly when to force back. And that was just brilliant to the bottom of the throat, high chest region. Then what's he do? He points to the ground.
No, he's saying he's too. It's an NBA thing where if they're too small to guard him.
Oh,
he's giving it the old.
Brilliant.
He's too small. He can't go with me. Bring Ben Mackay over if you want to see whether he can tackle me.
You can't guard me.
You can't guard me.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
For a little man who's just 183 centimetres, I enjoyed that. Back in the middle, Goldstein gets the clearance for the Bombers. Back to centre field, hand pass away to Sam Durham.
Holding.
Kicks inside 50, surely Langford a free kick for a hold against O'Donnell. They've taken the advantage. Hand pass to Langford in the pocket. He dribbles it towards the teeth of goal. And Rory Lobb gathers. He can't break through the shield tackle. Somehow got a hand pass away at the last moment to Bailey Williams. Back to Johannesson. Kick is smothered. Gathered by Peter Wright. Hand pass to Merritt. He turns it over with a hand pass to Liberatore. The Bulldogs out of defence. Hand pass to English and now to the runner Johannesson. Takes a bounce at right half back. Up towards McNeil and McGrath. One-on-one. It clears to the back of the pack. Redmond gathers to the Bombers. Hand pass away to McGrath.
Has a bounce and hand passes to Reid, who gathers. Long hand pass to Goldstein, centre wing. He's got Dersma running next to him, so moves the ball across to him, and Dersma kicks it to Nick Martin. Close to the boundary line, 60 metres out from goals for the Bombers. Martin just deciding what to do until he chips it right into the centre of the 50, and it's Peter Wright who's running in to take the mark.
It was a nice kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He just waited. I feel like Lobby was sitting back just thinking, I reckon this is going to go long. I'll just sag off a little bit, but found a hole there. Nick Martin put it to his advantage. It's a nice kick. Hopefully we can finish and get a little goal on the board for Peter Wright and Essendon.
Peter Wright kicking from 30 metres out. Slight angle to the left. Eases it towards the goal. And he's got one for the Bombers in the fourth term. It's just their 5th goal of the night as Essendon moves to 5-4-34. And they're taking on the Bulldogs 16-13, 109. Lead 75 points. 6.5 minutes played in this final term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford.
What's in a good hedgehog, Liz?
Well, I'll go with the Marie biscuit, butter, coconut, cocoa, condensed milk, and then I melt like a bit of Cadbury chocolate on the top. But I go the big size block so it gets it nice and thick.
Yeah, nice play.
Yeah.
That's a good play. The Marie biscuit, that's controversial.
Is it?
Yeah.
What would you go?
It's a solid biscuit.
No, I love the Marie biscuit, don't get me wrong.
Have you made many hedgehogs in your day?
No, look.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions on lids here. What are you bringing to the table?
Well, I'm not the one claiming father use status.
Name your biscuit. That's what I want to know.
Big cheerio to Alice if she's listening. Of course, part of the ABC stable. You can catch her on ABC TV as we have delicately headed into some areas we probably shouldn't. As Merritt tries to get the clearance of the Bombers. Hand pass away to Caldwell, and here's the speed of Shield. He shins it in the end, inside 50, in which two Bulldogs run into each other. Cleary running back to Dale. He in the end gets a hand pass back to Bramble. Stood up in the tackle from Nick Martin. The hand pass away to Langford as to where the tackle of Rory Lobb, and a ball up 15 metres out from goal. The Bulldogs by 75 points. The Bombers inside 50 here as Lobb does the ruck work, palms it down towards Kennedy. Little soccer towards the boundary line. Dersma races after it, over around the footy. Dale with a hand pass trying to clear the defensive 50, but Roberts chops it off. Hand pass to Setterfield. Goes back to Laverty, trying to blind turn out of traffic. In the end, the ball goes out of play. And a boundary throw in. 16-13, 109 the Bulldogs. The Bombers 5-4-34.
42 for Dale. We're on 50 watch. Yep. 47 the most by a dog. Ryan Griffin, Jack McRae.
I don't mind the arrowroot biscuit.
Not my favourite.
They're all just solid, bland biscuits. As Kennedy tries to kick it away and it'll just bounce over the boundary line for a throw in.
It's offensive, boss.
Oh, I said they were solid.
You said bland.
Oh,
You said bland.
Sorry.
Pretty harsh.
75 points the margin for the Western Bulldogs. Maybe Essendon fans left at halftime to go home, have a cup of tea and a biscuit as well and get out of this dreary weather in Melbourne. This is Bontempelli that takes it. Hand pass to Richards, hand pass to English. The flick goes to Davidson. Could have gone to West, but Davidson will collect. He takes some time to spin around and he'll put the kick right towards the goal square. It was McGrath in front. And he's able to do well to get it against McNeil, but it's Karmas who is taken to the turf. And it will be a stoppage inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs.
Been very good one-on-one, Andy McGrath. A couple of battles now. Saw him last week live too. Doing pretty well.
Thrown up, Goldstein wins down the tap, tries to follow up his work. Tackle by Norton. And about 15 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal. And the umpire says, I'll ball it up.
So there's a distinct class golf between those two teams. Just little things like hitting blokes on the run.
English over the back. Kennedy tried to run the boundary line. Cannon into the left behind post, and it goes through for a minor score. 76 points is the Bulldogs lead half.
Handballing under pressure.
Yep.
Still finding a target. The Bulldogs do it magnificently. This week it intercept.
They've turned it over from the kick in straight to Bailey Williams, who easily read that one, and now he'll have a shot at goal.
Who kicked that in? You see who that was? Zach Reed, was it? Yeah. He's had a couple of errant kicks today. I saw him go for a long handball over kicking it before. You understand why.
So in comes Bailey Williams to register himself as a multiple goal kick up. It'll just spray off to the left. So they penalise the Bombers just by a minor score though. And the lead though moves out to 77 points. 111 playing 34, 10 minutes gone in the fourth term on ABC Sport.
This time Mason Redmond says, I'll take the kicking duties, and goes short to Dylan Shield. In the left back pocket, Shield has to kick out in the direction of Nick Martin, who got away from Sanders and takes the mark at left half back for the Bombers. 77 points is the margin. Comes inboard to Kako, turns it over to Ray. Read it superbly, takes the intercepting mark, hugging it to his chest. Now Bontempelli's gone to full forward. Norton offers the lead. He sends it in that direction. Mackay works him underneath and takes the mark. Reaching up the Bombers.
Taladre put the hand up straight away. Yeah, butchered that. Sorry, Norts.
Just a little glare back, wasn't it?
Yep.
Like, come on, man.
Mackay out wide to Shield, who takes the mark at left half back. Jared's from Macedon. He says, I'm still at the game and will be here until the final siren.
Good on you, Jared.
Essendon through and through.
Like it.
Kick from Shield up towards the wing. Canny trying to come in from the side. English couldn't complete the mark. Hand pass to DeRay. Now forward to O'Donnell, to Williams, to Dale. Chiseling kick inboard to West. 4 goals. Hand pass to Bailey Williams. Through traffic. Hand pass to Norton. He wants to feed it away to Richards. Can he kick a third? Cuts around Redmond. Got the footy knocked out of his hands. And then dumped in a tackle by Dersma. Gets the hand pass out to Sanders. Hand pass to Karmas. Buku! Sends it through in the right forward pocket. Karmas with his second. And the margin is back out to 83 points. As it ticks past 80 to the biggest lead of the match so far. 17-15, 117 to the Bombers, 5-4-34. Just 12 minutes gone in the final term on ABC Sport.
It looked a fair way out. It was going to be a Bulldogs goal, just a matter of who was going to kick it.
Yep.
Dale was streaming through, handballs to Norton. Thought it might have been Richards, who got the fumbles once he had the sidestep, and then just fed the ball out into space. And this is the thing what I said before, that the spacing of the Bulldogs all across the ground in any scenario is brilliant. And they know they're going to have representation somewhere near where they get the ball, even under extreme pressure like Richards was in the end.
Very rarely do they leave a teammate on the island, do they?
Yep.
Surrounded by water. Just all by themselves. They've always got someone there to support.
It's 83 points. Buku Karmas' goal pushes the Western Bulldogs out to Bombers only having kicked 5 goals in this game so far. They'll look to add another one here as Durham takes a bounce from the clearance and puts it inside 50. With a kick to no one in particular. And Duray easily chops that one off for the Western Bulldogs. Chips it across to Lobb in the back pocket. He slices the kick across to Fraser. And he'll chip out wide to Williams. Williams holding on to the footy, can chip it towards Bontempelli. Laverty coming in, can affect the mark and then has to go after it, but Bontempelli just desperately trying to hang on to it. Durham steals it. It's stolen back the other way by McNeil. Hand pass to Bontempelli and it'll be an inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Vandermeer on the end of it juggles the mark.
It's sticky mitts, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's got big hands for a little fella.
Yeah.
Even then, they just had that little fumble, bobble, but McNeil comes in, and just as he's about to be tackled, you know what? No, I've got Bontempelli just sliding past me. A little handball. Don't try and overcreate.
Latham Vandermeer and Rory Lobb rocking the same haircut, the peroxide blonde, as Latham Vandermeer launches from 50, has the distance well and truly, but doesn't have the accuracy. And it's a point that'll put the Dogs up by 84 points, 14 minutes in this, played in the final term.
As it's brought back into play by Mason Redmond, straight down the middle to Zach Merritt. The Bombers captain looks to play on. Send it as far as he can, straight down the runway in the direction of Durham. O'Donnell flew in front, couldn't complete the mark. Richard slaps it back to Lobb. Under pressure, fires the hand pass out to Cleary. Hand pass out to Taylor DeRay. In the left back pocket, he kicks up towards Norton, who has an acre of space. Mackay's just corralling him. He chips it out in front of Davidson. He can run onto it left half forward. Karmas streaming into the pocket. He'll take an easy uncontested mark.
They just can't keep up.
Davidson's work rate.
Yeah,
incredible.
Enormous.
Mason Redmond's a good runner too. But he just blew him away then. They have been chasing tail a lot today though.
Yeah.
A lot easier to run downhill when you're sniffing a touch than
you betcha.
putting in the defensive hard yards.
Riley West has 4. Marcus Bontempelli has 2. Ed Richards has 2. Buku Karmas has a couple. For a third for Buku. He's going to open up the angle, kick across his body. Karmas fires it through. And a couple of the Bulldogs are having career best nights in front of goal. It's an equal career best for Riley West, and Buku Karmas is looking to get in on the party here. The Bulldogs lead by 90 points. 18-16, 124 to the Bombers, 5-4-34. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio, your experts on ABC Sport.
Harf, I just want to ask you, have you noticed anyone going hard to Zach Merritt tonight? I haven't noticed a hard tag. I feel like they've just gone head-to-head, but he's only had the 18. He's coming towards the bench right now. I know he spent a bit of time deep forward. Just haven't quite had the same output from him tonight as what we have seen in the last few weeks.
No, it's a fair point. Certainly hasn't had the impact, but part of me thinks if I was Zach Merritt, I'd be going, well, bug you.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything for this team. and have done for years now, and certainly this year so far. I'd love some help. I'd just about turn my toes up too if I was Zach Merritt. Yeah, I'd had enough. Like, seriously.
He's been averaging 30 disposals and a goal this season, which is a huge load that he's been taking.
And he's won the last 5 BNFs.
Yeah,
What else do you want me to put? What else can I do?
He's just taking a breather on the bench as we speak, as the clearance comes towards half forward for the Bombers. It'll be mopped up though by Harms, who can just move the ball across to Johannesson by hands, and he'll shove it on his boot and kick out towards English, who rises and marks ahead of Goldstein. And English moves the ball on quickly, hand pass across to West. He'll dart the kick inside 50. It'll be an intercept mark here for the Bombers. Jackson Pryor getting front position and wants to get rid of the footy quickly by kicking it to Setterfield. And just chips it out to Dersma, left half back, and he finds Caldwell, who marks, and then he'll hand it across to Roberts, who's under some pressure. Hand passes to Caldwell. He has to get the hand pass away and find Setterfield, who flicks it backwards towards centre half back to Pryor.
Yeah, it's been paid downfield, but it couldn't because it was backwards, retreating the handball.
So it's a Will Setterfield free.
Former teammates, Kennedy and Setterfield, having
Just to hang out a bit too, those two.
And it's Setterfield who'll chip it across to Reid, who marks it left half back.
Just watching that passage play, Essendon, when they got the ball, that was sort of open general play. Every time they got it, their first movement was to retreat and look backwards. Whereas the Bulldogs are gung-ho at trying to get the ball forwards. Essendon got it in general play, handball receives, automatically look back.
Caldwell's turned it over on cue. Harms takes the intercepting mark at half back. Hand pass to Liberatore. Feeds the hand pass to Fraser. Kicks up to Buku Kamas. As he has it on the wing, up to Vandermeer at full stretch, can't complete the mark. And off hands, it's taken by Archie Roberts. He sends it up the wing. On the bounce to Nick Martin, can't take it cleanly. Ready to Bailey Williams, and there was nowhere to go. Footy locked to his chest, and the umpire will ball it up. So Buku Kamas has an equal career best 3 goals. Riley West has an equal career best 4 goals.
They getting the votes?
Who's more likely to kick another one?
Well, Buku looks likely at the moment.
Buku's the man.
Riley's all of a sudden been pushed up the ground from his
Buku's coming off.
Starting full forward position, and yeah, Buku.
Boo. Keep in mind, Bevo.
90-point lead the Bulldogs' way.
He'll slot with Norton now. He'll take his position in the forward 50.
No rest for the Bombers' defence, is there? Norton comes on.
Goldstein taps it out. Caldwell will track this one back. That was deliberately pushed towards the boundary.
Yeah,
that is the correct.
That's the only one I've agreed with the whole year.
He just scooped that up almost for respite, just scooped it towards the boundary. So Liberatore will take the free for the Western Bulldogs and concede 30 metres going back to lob along the half-back line. He'll just chip it across to Bramble and then get the footy back from Bramble. So lob will go long, switch it to the outer side of the ground. O'Donnell, 2 hands, couldn't take the mark. Roberts will have a go at it. Dre came in there for the Dogs. O'Donnell's still in there as well. In the end, it's Durham that uses Roberts as a 1-2 and can hand pass to Perkins, who'll hand pass to Day Wicks. Back to Perkins, he's taken by Vandermeer. A soccer kick from Hobbs can move the footy to centre, forward still. Caldwell hand passes it back to Day Wicks, who finds Merritt. And Merritt will mark 40 metres out from goal. And he'll have a chance to put a goal on the board for the Bombers and keep that average alive of kicking a goal a game.
So James O'Donnell's had an almost night for the Bulldogs. He's had handballs go at his ankles and he's just had bad bounces at times. He hasn't been quite able to clunk a few marks.
Norton's been in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's been quieter than usual, Merritt, tonight, but runs in and
that is unusual.
One off the boot badly.
That's the man who's had that. Look at his body language.
Doesn't register a score.
He's had enough.
And it's 90 points the margin the way of the Western Bulldogs.
50 watch still on.
Yep. Bailey Dale just 4 short on 43. Make that now 45.
10 kilometre watch we want. Oh dear.
Most disposals by a Western Bulldogs player. 47 is the record. The Bombers through the middle of the ground. Caldwell got away from Liberatore. Kicks into the pocket. Looking for Peter Wright up against Richards. Can't complete the mark, but will get a free kick. Richards didn't have his eyes on the ball, and in the end, have away the free kick.
Yeah, front on contact there. Just trying to play it. They're playing out time though, aren't they, the Dogs, really? They're still probably good enough, but they're giving up a few inside 50 shots on goals. They're trying to create a little bit and save their legs more than anything else.
I think the Bombers would happily shake hands with 5 minutes to go and call it a night as well.
Yeah.
Peter Wright.
I don't know if the coaches would.
No.
Bevo's already in the car.
Chance of Peter Wright to kick his second in this 5 final term and for the match. In the left forward pocket, 35 metres out from goal, right flares it across the face. Through for a minor score. 89 points as the Bulldogs lead.
Comes Bailey Dale, yep, 46, good, smart.
Kick in, smart.
Shouldn't be a stat, I hate that.
If you want a stat, you should have to kick it to yourself, that's my theory.
Yeah, okay, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I like that. As he gets it towards Bramble, who puts it on the boot looking for Davidson, rises high.
Dale, give it.
And just uses Perkins to take the mark. Dale was running right across his right, but he'll hand pass it across to Williams in the end, Davidson, and Williams easily moves around Dersma. Hand pass to Johannesson, hand pass back to Davidson, puts a lot on the kick and he'll get it inside 50. Vandermeer almost tries to take the one-handed mark. He'll go back and collect. 3 Bombers trailing him. He can't hold on to the footy. Norton's in there as well for the Western Bulldogs. He digs it out and then takes the tackle from Redmond and gets dispossessed of the footy. Umpire says play on. McGrath has a go. Kennedy takes it. Hand pass to Richards. Snaps towards goal and he's missed. Just missed to the right-hand side for Ed Richards. He doesn't add to the 2 goals that he's got tonight. But he does put that Western Bulldogs margin back out to 90 points as they maybe chase that 100 mark. 22 minutes played in the final term.
Dylan Shield doing the kick in, sends a high ball to Durham, and Merritt have a fly at that. O'Donnell juggles the mark for the Western Bulldogs, feeds the hand pass forward to Harms, who cuts around a tackler. A centering ball looking for Richards, who rises and can't hang on to the mark. Langford bumped him off it. Davidson tries to knock it out, and Caldwell switches play for the Bombers to Dersma, who marks in the back pocket, and now the long leader, Peter Wright, with the high knees, is working across the ground and marks at left half back.
Peter Wright.
Chop the arms, free kick for him.
Yeah, I would have thought.
Peter Wright goes all the way back defensively towards Mackay, who marks, and will chip it towards Laverty. He'll go chasing after it in the right back pocket and pick it up to just kick outside defensive 50, or just inside in the end by the time Redmond marks it. Hand pass to McGrath. He chooses, he's indecisive about what he wants to do. Wanted to hand pass it first and then ended up kicking towards Dersma, hits him on the shin. Time to collect and gather, who hand passes to Pryor. Still got a defensive side of the ground, and he'll chip it towards Daywicks, who can mark. Hand pass to Perkins, and Perkins will just chip forward to Goldstein. So a little bit of a kick mark game here from the Bombers as Goldstein hand passes to Daywicks in his second game. Puts the kick right towards the top of the hot spot. He was hoping for a mark from Merritt. He was touched off hands. Merritt still gathers, can square up the footy, and he'll get the ball across to centre field. Will hold on to the mark.
Livers coming off for the Western Bulldogs. Like he's limping just a little bit.
That's his beautiful running style.
It looks exaggerated just a touch. Just a touch. Looks like the doggies are happy to just play this out. They're happy to zone off on space and see what happens on the back of that. Not too much defensive pressure going on here at the minute.
Full centre field almost directly in front to get a late one for the Bombers. He can't manage that.
Bailey Dale, yes.
It'll be Bailey Dale taking the kick in.
Exit. Good
89
boy.
points, Western Bulldogs lead.
So Dale with possession number 47. Most ever by a Western Bulldogs player, equaling with Griffin and McRae. The kick up towards the wing. Laverty can't take the mark. Bramble gets there. Davidson trying to interject. Sliding in from the side was Nick Martin. He wins the footy and gets the hand pass away to McGrath. Drives it inside 50. Caddy was nudged underneath. And O'Donnell juggles the mark for the Western Bulldogs.
Get over there, Bailey.
Switches back inside defensive 50 to Cleary. Here is Daly. Bailey Dale, possession number 48, the most ever by a Bulldogs player, as he finds Bootcoot Karmas
keep going, you'll get this.
on the wing.
He's going to get this.
50, he chips it over the top.
Oh, yes.
Possession number 49 coming up.
Go again, Bailey.
Streaming forward.
He
marks it right half forward.
Easy.
English into the pocket, the leader, Matt Kennedy.
Right on, 49. Wow,
come on, he's got to get up.
He's cooked.
He has got hands on hits on the wing, Bailey Dale.
And he's 1,004 metres gained too. Well done, he's got the kilometre. I love that.
Surpassing Ryan Griffin. And Jack McRae is the most ever disposals by a Bulldog. Now Matt Kennedy looking to try and kick his second goal of the match. In the right forward pocket, he'll kick across his body on the left boot. He curls it way too early. Through for a minor score to the right. 90 points is the Bulldogs lead at the 26-minute mark of the final term.
Come on.
Little chip kick towards Laverty.
Here we go.
And the kick from Laverty is not good. Williams.
Give it to Bailey.
Trucks it out. He's got Bailey. Screaming for it, but he chips it to Norton inside 50 instead.
Oh, he's just found out.
Well.
He's just found out, Bailey Williams. He's got his head in his hands.
He works it out after Bailey Dale says something to him.
Kick it back to him now.
Yeah.
Why can't they kick it back to him now?
Norton to snap, absolutely curls it around. It's a waste of disposal. It's out of bounds on the full. No, it does squeeze through from behind. It should have gone back to Bailey Dale.
Bailey with his reaction when he realised he'd been told. That was hilarious.
So 91 points.
Come on, buddy. Lift.
McGrath
do something tonight.
Brings the Bombers back into play, long into the middle of the crowd. English drop the mark. Palms over the footy. Tackle by Langford. Umpire circles.
20
and
seconds.
we'll ball it up. A 91-point lead the Western Bulldogs way. Bailey Dale is off the back of the pack here. As it's tossed up in the air. English and Goldstein. Goldstein wins down the tap. It's locked to the chest of Ed Richards as he wrestles with it. And Sam Durham and the umpire will ball it up. Goldstein once more tangles, wins down the tap to Nick Martin. Hand pass away to Setterfield. Chips it out wide for Peter Wright.
It's going to be tough now.
Yes, it is. Between wing and half forward. Bailey Dale on 49 disposals. The kick inside 50. O'Donnell takes the mark. He drops it at the last moment. Hand pass to Harms. The siren sounds and the Bulldogs win big under the roof of Docklands. They proved the class gap between the two sides. A 91-point victory over the Bombers. And it's back to reality for Bombers fans.
Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West.
The Western Bulldogs 18-19, 127 defeat the Bombers 5-6-36 in front of 47,266 fans. They kicked the opening 7 goals of the match. It was 9 unanswered, and they led by 42 points at quarter time, by 59 points at half time, by 75 points at three-quarter time, and run out 91-point victors. So the Bulldogs cement their spot inside the top 8 for the moment, while for the Bombers it's a reality check that they are outside with work to be done.
Red, white and blue. We come out snarling. Bulldogs through and through. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. The team of the mighty
The Western Bulldogs jump up into 5th position. They move to 6 wins and 4 losses. For the Bombers, they drop to 10th with 5 wins and 4 losses. 11 individual goal kickers for the Western Bulldogs, including 4 to Riley West. He kicked 1 in each quarter, 3 to Buku Kamas, 2 to Marcus Bontempelli, individuals to 2 to Ed Richards as well. Individuals to Kennedy, Vandermeer, Liberatore, McNeil, Norton, Williams and Davidson. While for the Bombers, their goals came through Perkins, Wright, Durham, Dersma and Martin. The Western Bulldogs winners by 91 points. The thoughts of Daniel Harfin and Brett Delidio, your experts, with Bailey Dale being interviewed by TV, finishing on 49 disposals and over 1,000 metres gained.
Yeah, 37 of those kicks. That's incredible, isn't it? Like, I suppose that it is the reincarnated spot. If I was coming back, it'd be tough back.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Take the kick outs, go and just do as you please. Don't man up on anyone. Run free, deliver the footy. He was incredible tonight, but they were across the board. I mean, how many superlatives do you want to throw at the Dogs tonight? They were very good, but as good they were, the Bombers probably were poor. You know, they really looked out of sorts. They didn't look like they were able to slow down the Dogs at any stage. Their inability to halt their ball movement, they didn't really apply a heap of pressure. I know we spoke about them being harder to score against, yes, playing some bottom of the ladder sides, but when they come up against a top 4 side, and that's what I think the Dogs are, they got an absolute walloping tonight.
Walloping's a good word, not used often enough in my world, but I like it. No, can't dispute any of that. They were scintillating tonight, the Bulldogs. 7 goals in that first quarter. I was genuinely keen to see how they responded physically to that trip to Darwin last week, where they took on the Gold Coast Suns. Really taxing encounter, came back late. never easy to recover from that. But whatever they've done through the week, that's the recipe going forward for interstate travel. It was a brilliant come out and whack Essendon between the eyes performance. 7 goals the first quarter. The game was over. So hats off to the Bulldogs and their conditioning staff, but also to the players for the attitude that they come here with tonight. Loz mentioned this at the start of the night. It was a real statement day for the Bombers. Real statement day. They'd beaten 13th, 14th, 15th, 17th and 18th. They were their 5 wins coming into this weekend's ladder and tonight's game. And they were absolutely pantsed. So they are so far off it's not funny from what we've seen tonight. Now the Bulldogs are serious and they're a really good footy team. I agree with you. But I don't know if Essendon are in a world of make-believe and they're trying to force themselves into believing that they're a half-decent team. But what we saw tonight, from the very start, outside the first 2 minutes perhaps, from the very start showed that they are so far off it's not funny. They can't defend.
Yep.
They can't transition the ball from defensive 50 to forward 50. They were, as I mentioned before, they were the slowest ball movement team in the competition. They're the least threatening team. They had the way they measure that these days in the last 5 weeks, despite the fact they won 4 of those games. So I don't know who Essendon are. I'm not sure what they stand for in terms of a system. They got caught, seemingly tonight, they got caught between tempo and control versus the chaos that the Bulldogs make you play. But even so, that's from an offensive perspective, even so, they should be able to shut down defensively better than they did tonight. Yeah. And they at no stage showed any capacity or ability to do it, let alone want to do it. So if I'm an Essendon supporter, that's what I'm annoyed at tonight. So it's a mauling, right? We understand that. But it's how it happened. I don't know what they are as a footy team on the back of tonight. And watching them beat the lesser teams in the last couple of weeks, there's been some nice phases of play and they've owned the game a bit. It's uncontested marks and all that sort of stuff, but that's not going to win you a grand final.
Yeah.
So this is not a step forward. What we're seeing at the moment doesn't seem to be a step forward for Essendon as a footy club, as a footy team.
Yeah, it's hard to find the positives out there. I think the sides that they have beaten, I think that you have started to see that system and the things they're trying to put in place. I think they're riddled with injuries at the moment to key players in key positions, so I think that doesn't help. But in saying that, you want to start to see, their midfield should have matched up a hell of a lot better tonight than what it did. I'd think with Merritt and Durham in there, Setterfield going to Bontempelli, head to head, that they should not get mauled in the way they did, but they just had too many numbers, and we saw it early with Sanders just being able to come down into the defensive 50, get it, link up all the way through. Bailey Dale play the game that he wanted to play. They just had too many people that were willing to work harder, and that's probably more to what you're talking about, Half, just that ability to work and push through and break that bubble to get on the outside of your defender.
Yep.
To then either be an option to be kicked to or to be open up the middle so that you can come back through there. But the slow ball movement, it makes it very hard to break the paint, or to go out there and paint the fence as a wingman or a half forward when you don't even know what your halfbacks are doing. Like they're so sporadic with their ball movement. Yeah. They go slow and wide, and then it's like double switch, triple switch. Then you wonder why they're getting outnumbered when they go long. Well, it's because the guys they've worked that hard, crossed the ground 3 or 4 times, and they can't get there to the next contest. So there's maybe a little bit of simplicity there to try and bring that back to, righto boys, if we switch once, we double switch at max, and then you go on long down the line, so we know up the field, that's where we've got to meet.
Yeah, well, the second most switching team in footy up until tonight was one of the stats I saw through the week. So it's part of their game to control the possession, to shift the defence to the opposition. My problem tonight when they did that, and even not on top of that, when they got the ball back in the sort of the defensive mid area, just behind centre, just before the defensive arc, is there was no connection for that next possession going forward. So they were too far away. They were not relevant to each other. So that's a system thing. That's a structural thing. Or it could be an effort thing, but it looks to me like, just watching it tonight live, it looked to me like a system thing. So that's got to be addressed, because the other good teams in the competition will do exactly what the Western Bulldogs did to them tonight, if not worse, and that's a bad sign.
They certainly will. The Western Bulldogs have ushered one of their trainers to the front of the team, and she leads them off the ground and down towards their change rooms. The Western Bulldogs winners by 91 points, 18-19, 127 to the Bombers 5-6-36. Andrew Mays is down in their change rooms.
Clinch, nice jubilant Bulldogs rooms here. Luke Beveridge enjoying a few photos with a couple of supporters, and now they're all jumped in the circle ready for the rendition.
Sons of the West, woo! Red, white and blue, woo! brave the team of mighty West.
So, Brady, happy Bulldogs rooms down here. They're just going to do a quick presentation. So if you come back in about 60 or 90 seconds, we should have Matthew Kennedy.
Sounds good, Maisie. Yell out. Of course, these two sides play for the E.J. Whitten Cup. They've done so since the late 90s. So the Bulldogs have won now their last 9 matches here at Docklands. They have another 9 matches to come. And these two sides will face off again in round 20. So it does feel like a significant class gap between the two sides. The Bulldogs are emerging as one of the premiership threats. How impressed are you in their orthodox approach to be able to execute tonight? 7 goals to none in the first quarter. As you said, the game was over at quarter time, but do you have them in the conversation with Collingwood and Brisbane? And
why wouldn't you? If you start to get a couple of players back as well, with Sam Darcy comes back into that mix, Adam Treloar gets his calves right. Why couldn't you then predict these guys being Liam Jones to come back into that back line, hopefully? They're legitimate, I think. I think Luke Beveridge has done a terrific job with this side to get the wins that they've been able to get while having those injuries, particularly Marcus Bontempelli in the first half of the year, or first quarter of the year. They're legitimate.
Hawthorn and the Gold Coast Suns are the other two sides in the top 4. Do you see the Dogs as a top 4 side this season?
They'll be pushing it. I think the top 4 fight's going to be pretty good. It's probably that 4 plus the Dogs is the chase, isn't it? The current 4 plus the Dogs. They're the 5 that should make up the 4, you would think. They seem to be the standout teams through the season. Geelong might push for it too back in the season.
I think the Dogs have beat the Hawks currently. That's my
I don't think Hawthorn are going that well. No. A lot of people are talking them up a bit, but I'm not sure they've played that well in the last month of footy, and they've won 3 of the 4 games.
Dogs had touched up the Suns that time, I reckon. Maybe I know they got them last week, but come down here, let's see.
Of course, rather fittingly, the Bulldogs take on Geelong next Thursday night at Kennedy Park.
That's going to be good fun.
The rekindling of Bailey Smith against his former side. The following week they take on the Hawks. So that's a couple of big weeks for the Bulldogs to try and work out where they sit.
I reckon they're ready for it, though. I reckon they'd relish those chances to show everyone how good they are, and they would go in absolutely chock full of confidence to both those games, despite the fact GMHBA is not, Kennedy Park's not an easy place to play, although the Giants seem to have a bit of a method there.
Dogs got them last year too, didn't they? I reckon down there. Was that right? I reckon in the wet, sloppy going.
I think you're right,
yeah.
For that. But I reckon they'll relish the chance, and Luke Beveridge will wind them up like nothing else.
Yeah, so both teams coming off relatively soft wins. So recover well, get down there Thursday night. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see the opening bounce as to what Bailey Smith cops. A few receipts kept, no doubt.
Yeah, well, he's been enormous for the Geelong Footy Club, of course. The go at the Bulldogs last week for the Ballarat gag.
Yep.
And the Bont came back at him. Well, there's a bit going on there. It's nice. It's nice theatre for Thursday night footy.
It certainly is. The Bulldogs winners by 91 points. Let's head back to their rooms with Andrew Mays.
Matthew Kennedy's with me. Another successful night as a Dog. Matthew, tell us about the mindset coming into the game. I know watching at quarter time, Luke Beveridge was really quite animated with the players on the bench at the time and really excited for what you'd achieved in the first quarter. Was that a focus coming into the game off the back of the tough road trip?
Yeah, I think last week we were just a little bit slow coming out of the back half, so he wanted to encourage us to play with speed and confidence and try and really test their defence. We knew they like to get back, so we had to move the ball but also press up on them, not let them chip the ball around. So I think there was just a couple of moments where we probably just slowed it up and boys were probably a little bit cooked, but Bevo wanted to encourage us still to take the game on and really test their defence.
So who does that message go to the most? Is it the half-backs who are forced to get on their bike all day like they did tonight, or is it the mids as well?
It's a bit of both, but it was more so probably starting with our backs. Our backs generate a lot of our speed and ball movement, and I think kick-ins are probably a great opportunity to really set the scene in that. So I thought tonight they did a marvellous job in playing on with speed and shifting the game and making them defend. And I think our mids worked really hard in 45s and were able to really test their defence and play with freedom, confidence, bit of overlap. But I thought there were a couple of individual performances with Bailey Dale tonight. He was absolutely amazing. Libber as well is always a barometer in there, and Ed Richards and Bond. So, no, I think it was a pretty complete performance, and think Bevo will be pretty happy with that one.
What was the message at half-time? Because you're up by a lot, and often teams can get satisfied with that, or the second half just plays out and you sort of record that comfortable win. What did Luke really emphasise at half-time?
He really emphasised probably reset, which most coaches sort of try and relay that message. But for us, it was just we want to keep playing our way and playing our brand, and really, as I mentioned before, that speed and pace and freedom, I guess, from our back half. So that was basically a lot of the message, and mainly for us to keep generating that good energy and play the basics, not to do anything special and not to be selfish. What got us a really great lead in that first half, we had to just keep doing, and that was team first, selfless footy, hard in the contest. It always starts in there. So just get back to that and then play footy off the back of it.
Before I head upstairs, one last one. Now, I want to take the listeners inside the rooms at the moment. So afterwards, I know the head of medical walks around with a bit of a whiteboard and he's sort of ticking things and crossing things off. Asked you a few questions. Now, I don't need you to give anything away, but what does he ask? Is he checking for niggles or things that were wrong in the game or where you got a knock? What is he asking there?
Yeah, as you sort of alluded to, he's just asking for any knocks, any niggles. Every break, quarter time, half time, 3/4 time, and post game, they always get around and to every player and just to really make sure. And they're really diligent, and any little niggle, if it's a scratch or anything, they want to know. So every game, especially playing inside, you're always going to get a bump or bruise here and there. So just letting him know I had a couple.
Do you get quizzed on it tomorrow?
They'll bring it up in our review just to Thursday as well, so we've got a quick turnaround. So I think they just want to be on top of it because we've got a pretty short turnaround. We want to review it, recover and set our sights for Thursday.
Let's head upstairs. Brett Deletio and Daniel Harford. Gents.
Bam, it's Lids here, mate. I just want you to quickly turn around and have a look at Bevo's shoes, mate. Give us a rundown on those and your thoughts on them, mate.
Mate, what are they? The ASICS 3000s, are they? Mate, he's got his casual kit on tonight. Good on him. Seems like he's pretty happy with himself.
You wouldn't be wearing those up at Colin Gully, mate, that's for sure. I couldn't imagine.
No, I got the farm boots on, Lids.
Yeah, exactly right. I know you. Yeah. Mate, well done on your own form. I think mate, do you feel like you're running on top of the ground at the moment? You're mixing in with this midfield seamlessly at the moment, but having those boys around you must make your job a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, it really does. Big Timmy English has been awesome, giving us first use most weeks. Tonight he had a really big challenge in Goldstein, experienced ruckman. Thought he competed well, and then, just being able to learn so much and pick the brains of Bont, Libba. Adsy's been awesome as well, and Big Ed Richards, who's beside me. Just a classy midfield group they've sort of really embraced me, which I really appreciate, and really wanted me to play to my strengths. So they've embraced me, wrapped their arms around me, and I've been able to learn so much, and I'm very grateful that they've, let me come inside to their inner sanctum, because I think they're already a very elite midfield, so I'm very pleased to be playing alongside some absolute superstars in the game.
And one of your small forwards, well, not small, because half thinks he can bench 800. But
I want to know what he benches.
Riley West, one, what does he bench? But two, mate, how about his form at the moment? He finds a way.
He does. Westy's one of those blokes, he's a bit of a barometer for us. He always sacrifices his own individual game, but at the minute it's good to see he's doing the simple basic things well, and he's getting a bit of reward off the back of it. He works so hard week in, week out. He's always by Bond's side, pinging his brains and just finding little ways to be elite, and there's no wonder why he comes out here tonight and every week really and plays such good consistent footy. But we love Riley and absolutely love what he's been doing.
Chuggo, Daniel Harford, mate. Nice game from you, 31-1 in the Mauling, which was fantastic. I'm keen to find out how the week went for you. We were talking. Well, I was really interested at the start of the game to see how you came out after the trip to Darwin. The difficult conditions as always is playing up there, and had to come late to fight for that game against the Gold Coast Suns. Didn't quite go your way, but I was keen to see how you'd come out and you come out and kick 7 goals. What did the week look like physically?
Darwin was obviously a completely different experience to tonight, but I think we just wanted to there was a couple of work-ons during the week coming out of that game, but I think we were really encouraged by the way we finished, and we sort of wanted to take that energy and momentum into this week really. We just didn't do the basics for long enough last week, and I think tonight it was a pretty complete performance. It's amazing. You do the hard stuff first, and every game starts with the contest, I guess, and then from that we can make composed, smart decisions, take the game on. I think that's what we saw tonight, and that takes everyone buying in and playing their role. And yeah, I think we've got a lot of selfless players in this team that you probably don't see or notice as much. We mentioned Westy before, he's starting to get a bit of reward, but we've got a number of players that just play their role week in, week out, and it builds such great energy. And yeah, we're able to get a performance like tonight, which I thought was pretty complete.
I've got to work on for you to have a chat with the midfield coach and Bevo and your review. A lot of left footers in the centre bounces at times. There's Richards, Liberatore, Bontempelli. Wouldn't mind seeing a right footer just in the mix. Can you sort that out?
Yeah, I'm sort of the only one in there now that you mention it. I didn't realise that. I feel a little lonely now, but we've got Riley West goes in there a bit, and Riley Sanders, and who's the other one?
Harmsy goes in there.
Harmsy goes in there
Sando,
a bit.
yep.
Sando, and Joel Frazier.
Oh, yes.
He's
yes.
mini Bond, so get him in there a bit more, I think. And we got who I think is still one of the best midfielders in the comp, Adam Treloar, to come back. So hopefully he gets himself fit and firing soon.
One more, gents, before the team meeting kicks off.
Well, the obvious one to ask is, do you know the record for most disposals by a Bulldogs player, Matt?
I don't know, it was a Bailey Dale tonight. It felt like every time I looked up, he had the bloody ball.
He finished with 49, surpassing Ryan Griffin and also Jack McRae. But the player who probably feels a bit disappointed is Bailey Williams. Could have chipped it back to him for number 50. And he knew immediately. Did you guys know how many he had?
No, we didn't. I heard that he was getting the cheer from the crowd, so I thought he must have been close. No doubt Bailey Dale will be filling that for the rest of the week.
He was flat.
We'll have the chest puffed out in the team meeting. Is that the type of stuff that'll be celebrated?
Yeah, I think so. No, I think if you play a game like that, you've got every right to be a little bit arrogant, I think. Absolutely. Congratulations on the win, and thanks for spending some time with us. Thanks, boys. Matt Kennedy joining us after the Bulldogs' 91-point win over the Bombers, 18-19, 127 to Essendon, 5-6-36. Life seems pretty good since he made the transition from the Blues to the Bulldogs, and he's certainly complemented their midfield.
Yeah, it's working well. It's working well. When he came in tonight, he was averaging 23.6 and he kicked 10 goals. He's chucked another 31 and 1 tonight amongst a host of Bulldog stars out there in the middle of the ground. Tell you what, I'm just looking at this on the TVs at Docklands here tonight. They're in the Bulldogs rooms at the moment, and Luke Beveridge is talking to the TV commentators. He's been doing this for about 10 minutes, and he's looking more and more like Luke Perry from 90210 every time I see him. Now, Luke's sadly no longer with us, so we can't get a recent photo, but remember 90210? Mm-hmm. Loz, you're looking at me funny.
I don't know who this person is.
I'm 87 born, mate. You can remember that.
Surely you know 90210. People
wasn't allowed to watch that. That would have been the devil, probably.
You're with me, Clinchy.
I'm certainly with you.
He's looking more and more like Luke Perry than I've seen in years.
His chompers are looking awfully white, aren't they?
Magnificent. This is the thing.
Yeah.
He's got a healthy glow. He's got a little quaff at the top. He's looking a treat. And hand in the pocket, right hand in the pocket, left hand on the mic, king of the world at the moment, looking for a contract.
Yes, he certainly is a happier man than what he might have been 5 or 6 weeks ago when he was dealing with the injury challenges of Marcus Bontempelli being out, Adam Treloar, Jamara Ugle-Hagan not being with the
how they've handled that's been first class, if you ask me. Just to not allow that to become a distraction. Someone who doesn't want to be at the club and is dealing with their own issues, I think they've handled that beautifully.
The injury to Sam Darcy, which now looks a little bit more uplifting if he can return before season's end to maybe enhance this Western Bulldogs top 4 prospects, but the Bulldogs winners by 91 points. Now, half is showing us the photo of Luke Perry for those that can't remember.
I don't know about that.
Loz, give me
how many questions do you reckon?
Nothing.
You're saying he's smiling half, but do you reckon after about 10 minutes he'd go, righto, I think that's enough, guys.
Well, Maisie was getting rid of us for the team meeting. Yes. I imagine the coach has got to be in there at some stage.
Then we go back to the other camera, the wide shot, and all the boys are just with family. So
Maisie just didn't want us to talk to him.
He gave us the quick wrap-up, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I guess the broad question is how real is it for the Bulldogs, which I think we've sort of answered a bit of that it feels like at the moment they're amongst that conversation with top 4 sides. Yep. Can you see any deficiencies at the moment? I mean, Aaron Norton is probably the one. He's not playing great footy, 11 disposals tonight, 1 goal, 3, and yet they are kind of complementing with Riley West, Buku Karmas. They've thrown Roy Lobb forward in previous weeks. Marcus Bontempelli and Ed Richards will pop up and kick a couple. Their midfield bats so deep now that they are becoming a goal-kicking midfield brigade.
Yeah, I think that is the one. Like Aaron Norton, to me, what they win by in the end, 13 goals, 14 goals. and he's kicked one. Like, it's a... Yeah, he hasn't really cashed in. It could have been one of those ones, but he had his hands to so many balls, didn't he, tonight? Like, he just had the cricket bats on, unfortunately, and they just weren't sticking.
Yeah, I think they gained a bit of confidence out of that too. They have 11 goal kickers, so trying to defend all that is not an easy thing to do. I think the focal point's nice, and West is certainly playing deeper than I've seen him play for throughout his career. He's the one out deep player often. Riley West, which is interesting. Karmas can play that role as well. They've got such flexibility. And you mentioned the midfield, and the goal kickers, they get through their midfield. And just listening to Matt Kennedy speak about how selfless he thinks they are. So he's come from another club. He would have had an opinion of them as an opposition player. He's walked into the club and realised that these guys are in it for each other. Yeah. And you see that when you watch them play, and it's brilliant to watch. And great teams playing team footy is such good fun to watch.
Yeah, it is.
And we saw that tonight from one of them, one team out there tonight. When you see the opposition against that, it is absolutely right between your eyes how bad the contrast can be. And that was the flip side with Essendon tonight. But they're a team. They are a serious team. Luke Beveridge has built a real team mindset here. Feed the ball, give it to the runner, find the free player, whatever it might be. And they do it. There's no hesitation. There's no one looking for their own glory in all this, despite the fact they've got some champions of the game that quite rightly could.
Well, I used to enjoy watching the Cats back in their era. Like, they were a team in sync. Yep. So regardless of the result, you love watching just clean football where teams, they can just constantly have players that are turning up to then be a link player to the finish. And that's what we saw with the Dogs. I'd much prefer to see that tonight with a 14-goal defeat, than a dour 5 to 6 goals game. That's a clinic that's been put on here today of pure football.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see that sort of play with the Gold Coast too. I mean, they've got a weighted balance at Darwin for the way they play that ground. It's a significant advantage, but I'm starting to see that connection on field and the desire to be a great teammate in the middle of the play. And I think that's a really powerful force. We've seen it with Collingwood through the years. We've seen it with Brisbane and Geelong and through their successful eras. We've seen it with Hawthorn back in the mid-2010s. Great teams look awesome and they have great success, not just because they've got awesome players, but they become great teams, great machines. And that's the lesson from tonight, I reckon, that if I'm an Essendon fan, I'm sitting there going, well, we are so far off, it's not funny.
That's the thing, isn't it? The best teams become systematic. It's so process-driven that it almost happens automatically. And you compare that with what we saw for the Bombers tonight, 5-6-36, so that's their lowest score since round 23, 2023 against the Giants. And yet they never looked like it tonight. They were a long way off it.
First 2 minutes and that was it. I had some inside 50s and I thought, okay, the Bulldogs might be a bit slow here. Bang, 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 bang. 7 in a row, and it's curtains. And they did not give a yelp.
Is there anything in their fitness? We saw them at half-time. They were absolutely spent. Or is it just they're basically chasing their tails for the whole game?
Yeah, I remember back in the day we had our fitness boys trying to sell us the dream of how hard we're working. Our numbers looking astronomical. Yeah, because we're turning the footy over and we're having to chase. Geelong, their numbers are way better than them. Of course it is. They hit targets and they don't have to run.
Yeah.
But when you're missing targets and then having to we saw because they're so in sync, they're the Dogs. They just push back 5 or 10 metres and then they're aligned with their next teammate. They're directing each other. Whereas Essendon, because they're all over the place, they don't exactly know. You are covering large distances just to try and lay a tackle.
Yep. That much more work than you need to. You don't really know what's going to happen next. So you're just trying to make it. 80% disposal efficiency from the Bulldogs tonight. It's a seriously good number.
Yeah.
Not that there was
that would suggest lack of pressure, wouldn't it?
Not that there was a heap of pressure. That's right.
So I don't reckon you really buy into the coming back from Darwin and, they could have been. It's like, well, they didn't really get challenged that much tonight, did they?
And I reckon that had great on Bombers fans too. Like, all the nights you could get a chance to put a bit of heat on them. They didn't give a yelp.
Yep.
They just did not close down space. They weren't physical. He talked about the tackle numbers through the game. They just didn't make them earn it. They allowed them to break tackles, stroll through unopposed at times.
That'd be an interesting stat, the broken tackles.
Or
the inability to get arms on but then not be able to hold that ball in or pin an arm, because the Dogs did it at will tonight, and that was the reason why they got that overlap, was because they were able to stand up in that tackle. But then you see the Bombers on the flip side pulled to the ground and the ball trickles out, but then the Bulldogs players are the first ones onto it.
Love to see defensive 50 to forward 50 chains tonight, how many times the Bulldogs were able to go from one end to the other, and how many times Essendon did. Because I was just watching it and just feeling it.
When they tried, they ran into a brick wall, didn't they?
Yeah.
They didn't have the numbers to try and link up and continue to play.
So Essendon fans will be wondering about that broken tackles. Like, is that attitude, is that effort, is that intensity? Sort of, they've been building for a test like that, and yet their spirit was broken as much as the scoreboard was in that first quarter.
Yeah, and that's I think if you're an Essendon fan, you're entitled to ask that question. Is it? What is it? Well, there's a few factors. I mean, tackling in my view is a mindset, but there's positioning and there's technical elements to it as well. So you can't just make it purely about your mind and your effort. But they just didn't even do it. Didn't even bother. That was really disappointing. It was such a statement opportunity for Essendon tonight. Such an opportunity. And they leave tonight with the whole footy world knowing that they can't.
If I was going to put a blueprint out there for them for tonight, would have been Richmond round 1 v Carlton. Just come out and give effort, and show us that you're going to put pressure on.
Yeah.
Just put pressure on.
Yep.
Because that's not ability. That's just intent. That's just want. But we didn't see it. I mean, they come up against a pretty class team, and they were outclassed right across the board.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. But even class players can fumble and double grab at times when you put under immense pressure.
Let's get a taste inside the Essendon rooms. Andrew Mays has headed across to there. What's the mood like in there, Maisie?
Hi, Clinchy. It's not all doom and gloom in here despite the result tonight. I know I've been in quite a few rooms where after significant defeats there's just no air of optimism at all. So hopefully I think the feeling in here with a couple of players who are just mingling around at the moment with family and friends. It's there's open conversation going on. Obviously, the team will have a couple of meetings. The curtain's up, so that's normally a sign that they've sort of had their mini debrief, and then they'll move into the larger briefing area, or they might just head home and sort of assess things at a later date. But no, I mean, if you're an Essendon supporter and you walked into this room, you'd be quite optimistic that they're hopeful that this is just a bit of a mulligan tonight, and then moving on with the rest of the season. I mean, they did get themselves to 5-3, but obviously tonight was disappointing. So, yeah, players are being summoned. The 2 or 3 that are left out here with their family and friends back into the meeting room. So I dare say Brad Scott's about to have a little bit of a chat to them. Todd Goldstein with plenty of ice on his old legs. Will Setterfield copped a corky as well, so he's just exiting the room at the moment just with a bit of ice on his thigh as well. But really, it's not as bad as you may think, having been in rooms like this before. So the Essendon fans will be hoping to wipe this one from the memory and move on pretty quickly.
The Essendon fans, I reckon, could be sitting there going, how the hell does that happen? I don't know, you've got to move on. What's done is done and all that sort of stuff, but gee whiz, on the way it was done tonight, I reckon there's got to be some serious reflection. Good on to hear Brad Scott's presser.
Thank you very much for your work. The Bombers going down by 91 points to the Western Bulldogs tonight. 18-19, 127 to the Bombers, 5-6-36. If you've just flicked on your radio, it was one-way traffic for most of the night. The Bulldogs led by 42 points at quarter time. They keep the opening 9 goals of the match. The Bombers keep their first goal at the 16-minute mark of the second quarter. It was 10-1 at half-time, 15-4 at three-quarter time, and the Bulldogs run out 91-point winners in front of 47,266 fans.
Now, I know that Richmond have got work to do tomorrow.
Yes.
They've got to beat the Kangaroos.
Dreamtime of the G next week.
Dreamtime next Friday night. If I'm Adam Uze, I'm watching this with a little bit of interest.
Yeah, I'll say.
And I've got plenty of ammo for my boys. Plenty of ammo for my boys before I even beat North Melbourne tomorrow. Not to say that's
turned into a sneaky little good game.
Yeah.
Which is great. I'm going along to this one.
And then it's Brisbane at the Gabba, Carlton at the G, Geelong at the G, Fremantle away before the bye for them. Now that is a stretch. That is a real stretch. Yeah. We'll certainly know by then.
Tigers are up to 3 wins. They play North Melbourne tomorrow. Who would you prefer to be? Would you prefer to be a Richmond fan or an Essendon fan at the moment?
Oh, Richmond, 100%.
Tigers are fully in a rebuild. We know where they are. They've obviously got some experienced players, and hopefully Dion Prestia does get back, but you can see the pathway as to what they're trying to do there.
But Essendon are trying to do the same thing. They just haven't quite gone to the depths of what Richmond have done.
Yep.
Well, they've got 2 firsts, 2 seconds coming into this year's draft. They're going to use them to be aggressive at the trade table, I would imagine. So
is that the right thing to do? If you're a list manager, you're in the management game, you're a list manager, do you take the 2 first rounders and the 2 seconds and bank some kids?
Yeah, not.
Are experienced players going to help?
I think good players are going to help, definitely. I think Zach Merritt, and we saw it here firsthand tonight, wants some help. You know, I think he's got Jai Caldwell and Tammy Durham in there that they offer a little bit. I think they're waiting for Elijah Sardis to give him some more through the middle of the ground. Ben Hobbs potentially. You know, Nick Cox hasn't played hardly at all, just on his way back from concussion. So there's some. I mean, Zach Reid and him and Perkins were the two from that draft a couple of years ago, where they got the three inside the top 10. You know, they haven't had them play consistently together for a long period of time. So, yeah, I'd say they. I don't know. It's hard. This year's draft's not as strong as what last year's was, so it's not the year to be.
And it's going to be more compromised, isn't it, with NGAs?
A lot of NGAs, father-sons, and all sorts of things going on there. So, yeah, look, I'm glad I'm not in charge, put it that way.
So we know they've had some season-ending injuries, unfortunately. So Nick Bryan, Sam Draper, Tom Edwards, all out for the season. Harrison Jones signed a contract extension during the week, so he's locked in till 2027. So some good news there. Jordan Wrigley is the other one.
Yep,
hamstring
long-term
injury,
hammy.
7 weeks out. And
he
Lewis
hasn't played a lot
Hayes,
of footy either, has he?
No.
For a long time, Jordan Ridley.
And there's still Darcy Parish just sitting in the background, keeps having setbacks, might get a chance to play in the VFL, but they've had the bye this week. So
Yeah, that's right, yeah. What I think they'll do is keep blooding kids and trying to push through and seeing where they can get them. But, yeah, look, tonight's a great learning. Like that's a reality check. This is where we're at. But it's... Yeah, you've got to continue to get better and strive to get better, and then they'll top up again with hopefully some new kids, or they'll bring in some new talent, which gives you another lift. But, yeah, they're not pressing for the top 8. I didn't think at the start of the year.
I'm thinking about what Clinchy, the question he posed before about who would you rather be, Richmond or Essendon. Like, Richmond wouldn't have put out that performance tonight.
Nah, I don't think so. But they're going to have moments where they've been touched up a couple of times too.
But their effort's been all right.
They had the one against Hawthorn where they were in it for a half, and the Hawks are always going to kick clear at some stage, but they've been more competitive, Richmond, maybe than what...
I think we get caught up in recency bias a little bit too much sometimes, and we're just like, oh, that was terrible, that's the worst we've ever seen, and we forget about what actually happened in the weeks prior. It's like... Yeah, I'm a little bit loath to jump on that bandwagon at times, because I think we all try and grab a bit of a statement or a headline versus just being, call for calm. Let's see where they're at the end of the year, and that's where we'll know where they're all at. I get it that we all want to try and be the crystal baller, but it's harder to do.
It certainly is. So what would you feel like?
Sort of Deledio here.
It is very much...
Real kitchen sort of hedgehog sort of man.
We've got a bit of hedgehogs correspondence as well.
What did you say then?
That's positive, it's all right.
I missed it.
We've got a bit of hedgehog correspondence I'll bring you before the program is out.
Fantastic.
But yeah, just having a bit of a look. So yeah, the Bombers lost obviously to Adelaide. They got thumped earlier.
That's this. Yeah.
That was their 61-point loss there. They lost by 41 points to Collingwood, and then by 91 points tonight. While the Tigers, they got belted by Port Adelaide by 72 points,
right. That's
by St Kilda by 82 points.
Oh, that's a bad one.
By Fremantle by 61. So
yeah, so this is where I'm getting to in terms of we're like, oh, they would have given effort. Well, there's 3 pretty bad losses half.
Yeah, but they're so far back.
Like, in terms of where they're at.
In terms of the list build. Like, they are so far back, it's not
Yeah,
fun.
they've got a lot of kids.
And that Hawthorn margin was 65 by the end. So, I take your point. Recency bias certainly comes in to the equation. But I guess the question you pose is, where do you feel like the most urgent need is
for Essendon
at the moment? Like, their forward line looks like it needs some support for Nate Caddy and Peter Wright. Their midfield looks like it needs some support. And they're playing Jaden Laverty for the first time this season, having... probably hoped at the start of the season maybe we might have surpassed him, but they've had to go to the depths of playing he and Todd Goldstein.
Yeah, it's tricky to know which hole to plug first. I think, you don't want to be throwing Nate Caddy to the Wolves in his second year in terms of, we need you to be our number one man. He's going to give you effort, but he's going to have some days where it's just damn hard, And Isaac Kako, like he's going to be enigmatic at times, but he also needs some support around him. They need inside 50s. Give us some supply, boys, up the field, and let us get a chance to actually have a fly at it and see whether we can excite the crowd and excite ourselves. But no, I think, a key forward, I don't know whether that's the answer, because I think they want to play 2 rucks, don't they? They had Bryan and Draper in that side.
Yep.
One of them's got to rest forward, and then if you have Wright and Jones and Caddy as well, like that's pretty damn tall, with Langford as well.
It's too big.
So it comes in and it bounces straight back out. So when they had Hayes and Reid playing last week, I actually thought, and with Mackay, there's 3 pillars that you can sit down back, and then you can build around it with Redmond and Ridley if he's back. That sort of starts to make sense. But speed in the midfield would probably be one that I would like to inject. Maybe some extra size in there. I don't know. Durham will give you effort.
Durham's a good player.
Setterfield, he's honest. He'll go to work for you. But, I mean, when Dill Shield was at his best, he's in there and he's going out the front of stoppage, not out the back. Yep. You know, and we're not just hacking it forward. Zach Merritt is a beautiful finisher, but he's not the burst out the front of a stoppage type player, is he? I don't know.
No, that's fair. That's fair. They could use some help in the middle of the ground. They've got 2 first rounders. They might be able to buy one.
So Sam Draper's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, and he wants to go.
What are you hearing in that space?
No, not a great deal, to be honest. A long-term injury makes it tricky, doesn't it? Because he's not out there playing, and he can't enhance his stocks and his reputation. I think the Bombers have been pretty supportive of him, and they've felt like they're invested in the journey together. But I guess the challenge is if he wants more money and they're in a rebuild phase, do you take the draft pick?
That's the problem.
That's what's on the table.
That's the problem for Essendon. They're in rebuild mode, and Adelaide are looking like they're going to be half okay. And with him, they might even be half better.
Yep.
That's the problem for the Bombers. If they want to keep him. Otherwise, if they have to take the pick and build, like Liz was talking about before, that might be the perfect situation. He's 26. Like, he's absolutely in the window, Sam Draper.
So he's a free agent.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he's got a decision to make as to where he wants to play his footy. Does he want to help build this side to what he wants it to be and be here in Melbourne, or does he want to go back to a 2-club town and potentially, I mean, Adelaide look like the side that are starting to bounce.
Yeah, so take me to the mind of the modern player, Lids, about what they want. Like, and Draper's the example we'll sort of harness here, but getting to midway through your career, haven't had any success. Opportunity is there to move to a team that may or may not.
I can give you a perfect example. You can't load the dice. You know, you think you can. Yeah. I know that also better than anyone. While the grass might be greener, sometimes, and my brother used this analogy to me the other day, maybe the grass just needs a bit of water on the other side of the fence, you know. and that sometimes that's the way it is. But then it comes down to your happiness in the game. You know, financially, obviously, plays a big part. I mean, you look at Tom de Koning, that's a $3 million decision if the numbers are correct that we're talking about over 5 years.
Yep.
I mean, you can't turn that down. I don't care what you've done in the game or whatever. You can't turn that money down, can you? Like, it's a lot of money.
Little Gaz couldn't.
Comes with a lot.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah. You know, but look at what Gaz had achieved. I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into it.
You've got to be a special person to deal with it, though, because it comes with a lot.
And that's as a manager, if it was one of my boys, and you say, well, with this comes a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure. Are you willing to do that? You've got to be able to handle that, because with that comes it's not just the club and the players, it's everyone that's around it as well, but the media are coming, and I tell you what, you'd want to be going damn well.
Yeah.
Week in, week out. I had that exact conversation with Josh Kelly before he made his decision about where he was going. I was like, mate, I understand that, you know, going back to Melbourne's great, mum and dad are there and everything like that, and playing for North Melbourne, but geez, mate, a lot of pressure comes. You haven't got the support you've got around you here in the midfield in terms of just playing. That's a big thing to consider. Winning most weeks and being competitive versus you're going back there to be the difference. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's a fascinating dynamic, I reckon, for a lot of players. And because the money now is so significant.
Well, that's it.
And clubs are looking to buy good players to build premiership lists. It's more aggressive than it's ever been.
Yep.
You're at the coalface of it. Yeah, it's a fascinating dynamic because I don't think many of the kids that have come through, maybe played 4 or 5 years, maybe 7 years, like Sam Draper, they're not built for that conversation. They're not built. It hasn't been part of the history, part of the storyline to this point because the money's changed now. So that becomes now the next generation will be able to deal with it a bit better. But I reckon this crop is in a really interesting space emotionally to deal with what comes with the big contracts and the expectations and the pressure. And I don't know if they're built for it, some of these blokes.
Well, they're the first of it's becoming less loyal, more business.
Yeah.
You know, and looking at it as a job.
Set your life up.
Yeah, set your life up. And that you're right.
That sounds good, by the way. Set your life up. That sounds real good.
100%. Well, they don't give you that sort of money once you finish.
No, I've come across that.
Tom Boyd's the other one. He spoke so well with the Spuds match about all the incentives, number one draft pick, going and playing in a premiership, and ultimately being happier once his career had come to a close. The Bulldogs 91-point winners over the Bombers, 18-19, 127 to Essendon 5-6-36. Still to come, the ABC Footballer of the Year votes.
Lids is all over that.
Nice little hand pass there.
I've been done that twice now.
Yes.
Who did that? Oh, Boomer did it to me last week.
You got to be a bit quicker than that.
Oh, mate.
On the
I am
SMS.
quick. I just thought he'd take it. But
0437 7474. We don't realise, Liz, as both of you are subbed in, but thank you very much for your work. Steve in Ballarat, we talk about Riley West and small forwards. Don't forget Cody Waitman. Yes,
he's had a horror run, the lad.
Good call. He was with us a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately, he doesn't look like he's going to return till the back end of the season.
If at all, yeah.
Yeah, Marcus in South Melbourne. Bontempelli, Liberatore and Richards, the best midfield trio in the AFL. P.S. Milk Arrowroot biscuits are the best.
Oh, there you go. Arrowroot. Told you. They're coming hard for the Arrowroot.
Well, that's one. One text.
That's one from one. That's 100%.
I've got another one to come. Does Bontempelli, Liberatore and Richards challenge, Matt Rowell, Noah Anderson, Toot Miller?
Yes, definitely challenges that.
Who would you say is the best midfield at the moment?
I like Brisbane's. Mm-hmm. Who else do I really like? I'm going off Carlton. I used to really like Carlton's midfield.
They're not top podium.
Melbourne haven't been playing anywhere near where they should be.
No, Hawthorns isn't that good.
Fremantle, if they get Young into that mix, I really like that. But
Brayshaw, Sarong, Young's good, but it's them or the Gold Coast, I reckon.
Yep. Okay. There's your
Probably
answer.
forgetting someone, but
probably.
Marcus.
That sounds good to me.
Mikey from Bendigo has alerted us to your little message. You showed us half of Xavier Coates for the Storm tonight.
What about that?
With an AFL-style mark for the Melbourne Storm.
Oh, Michael Roach.
Yeah. Shannon in Frankston. Milk Arrowroot and Mari biscuits are the makings of a good base for cocoa choc.
Cocoa, that's cocoa.
Yeah, thank you. Chopped coconut balls, for instance.
Cocoa.
Cocoa.
Glitchy. Loz is lost. You've sent her off here. She's gone.
Chopped coconut balls, for instance, is the suggestion coming through.
Cocoa.
That's what was written.
What do you call quinoa? Quinoa.
I just read what was on the message. It wasn't my take.
Paul's Duvers.
And Luca in Larks Bay says, the commentators were frustrated with the Bombers. By the end of the match, imagine how we were feeling. And half, Jason Dunster was bench pressing 800. You were cleaning his sweat from the bench press. What did the Chieftain use to press?
He's 160 man. The
really?
Chief. Yeah, Paul Salmon was a massive unit. Big rig. He was 160 man. Ben Dixon got to 150, I think, at one stage.
Jeez. How many reps?
We used to do three.
What's that out there?
What's that
Is that a cat or a possum?
What?
It is. It is something. What is that? On the half-forward flank, just over the other side of the arc, next to the chairs, Clinchy.
I've got
two chairs.
I think is it gone and hidden under?
Gone
with spotlight.
Yeah,
probably has looked like
I think as they've opened the roof, something has come in. But anyway, the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year.
The roof.
Yeah,
we're close to the end.
Must have been a cat landed on its feet. Loz is with me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still making them up. Sorry. Let me give you the other winners for the day.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah. One, I'm going with the
Still
man
making them up.
who benches 800.
One
for Riley West.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Two, I'm going with Tom Liberatore. I thought he was fantastic. Set the scene. Three. Oh, please. Who else? The guy had nearly raised the bat. 49 touches. Bailey Dale. 1,004 metres gained. He was terrific.
3 to Bailey Dale, 2 to Tom Liberatore, 1 to Riley West. From Brett Delidio in the ABC Footballer of the Year. The Bulldogs 91-point winners over the Bombers. 18-19, 127 to the Bombers, 5-6-36. North Melbourne or the Tigers tomorrow?
North.
I got the Roos too.
Yep, I'm on the Kangas there.
Kangas need a win.
Too close to not win one.
After their draw.
But at the G, so that makes me nervous.
Yeah, that's
I don't play there often.
That's a fair point.
The Brisbane Lions take on Nam. Can the Demons offer anything to inspire their fans against the Premiership defenders?
Well,
no.
Fremantle should be their inspiration today. That's exactly what they should be harnessing for that game against Brisbane. But no.
And the final match of the round, the West Coast Eagles take on St Kilda.
Oh,
so
this will be a tough watch, this one.
The Eagles are searching for their first win. This might be Minnie Walter's best chance since last week when the rundown tackle from Tom Brown.
He's had a few good looks.
And yet you would imagine Ross Lyon would have his side dialed up to make sure they do everything they should do here.
Well, if they don't, Monday's going to be an interesting day.
Yes.
If St Kilda lose to the West Coast Eagles, Monday's going to be a very interesting day.
He was prickly prior to the game, hasn't he been, Ross? So I've tipped the Saints, but
he's grumpy Ross at the moment.
Oscar Allen coming back in for the West Coast Eagles. Mason Wood, McClellan and Trevelyan come in for the Saints. There's no Dougal Howard or Liam Stocker. Yeah, he said, you want me to give you opposition analysis? We'll watch the game and find out, Ross. So he wasn't wanting to give all these tactics as to where he saw the West Coast Eagles. But for Saints fans, they're hoping that there's another victory there on Sunday afternoon. Half, Lids, thank you so much for coming in.
Happy to help.
It's been enjoyable.
Good luck with that raffle.
The bake sale.
Tomorrow, the bake sale, and hopefully there's some cakes left at the end.
The Army Award, I think we should bring that back.
Yeah.
I think we should bring that back.
I reckon, get the vision up. Put that on the ABC socials.
Okay, right. There's a challenge before.
The ball from Tucky hit the roof, and I had to go and
Back with the flight.
Yeah, back with the flight.
Yeah, it's courageous. You deserve the award.
Stephen Bay coming the other way.
Similar to that cat, just so fast on the outfield. Thanks to Stu Birchmore. Thank you to Jesse back in the studio. Thanks to Andrew Mays. Thanks to Lauren Borden as well. The Western Bulldogs 18-19, 127 to the Bombers 5-6-36. Don't forget AFL Sunday tomorrow from midday with Cameron Ling. We'll take you inside all the events across the day. The Magpies winners over the Adelaide Crows by 10 points. Geelong big winners by 76 points over Port Adelaide. Jeremy Cameron booted 7 goals, but the hamstring injuries were the talking point. Dangerfield, Horn, Francis, Jones and Bowes. While the Dockers were too good for GWS, winning 13-17-95 to the Giants 8-13-61. Shea Bolton and Michael Frederick both booted 3. They're the winners so far for round 10 of Sir Doug Nicholls' round. We can't wait for your company tomorrow as our AFL coverage continues. Don't forget the ABC Sport via all your social media through Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. And we'll chat to you tomorrow. It's good night from Docklands. The Western Bulldogs winners by 91 points.